Just admit it. You have your reasons. I won't say much about it. But if you don't have Naiden, you will lose the ability to protect yourself. Please quit this war. Charm said, also make a please posture. It was insulting for Yuzi to come back. However, he seems to be in a passive state at this time. He came back to stop the war. Yuzigi not only retreated, but jumped up in the air, standing in the air, shouting in the direction of the battlefield. Don't start anymore. The balance between the dark and the light is almost out of balance, and the seal of the demons is about to be broken. Do you really want to see the demons released? The shouting spread and spread to every corner. Gradually, it seems that the battlefield is different. The people of the elves came to stop the war. Taking advantage of this opportunity, they naturally got out. Seeing this, the evil spirit and dragon's face were not very good. Damn, at the last moment, it's really unpleasant to kill such Cheng Yaojin. Let's do it together. The seal is almost there. With the strength of our cooperation, we should be able to open it. The charm of the silent to the dragon Qingxia delivered a sound. On the other side of the dragon, naturally have this idea, all to this moment, absolutely can't let anyone destroy. Good. As soon as the discussion was over, he saw the tall black figure on the top of the beast, leaping up abruptly. On the other side, the white figure rose in the air. At the moment before the elves left, the two emperors on both sides were flying in the air and heading for each other. What kind of effect will the two emperors have when they fight each other? Nobody knows. Because no one has seen it so far. Yuzi Gui's face suddenly changed when he saw the situation. When the elves on the other side saw it, their faces changed. Stop them. Stop them from fighting. I don't know who called first, but there was a wave in an instant. However, the speed of the two emperors was so fast that it was too late even if someone wanted to stop them. At the moment when the two lights mingled in mid-air, an invisible afterwave of energy suddenly took the position where the two emperors were fighting as the central point, and attacked directly. Boom. The earth is moving and the mountains are shaking. At that moment, faintly visible on the ground began to light up a trace of seal stripe luster. Big, wide with the shock of the earthquake, it continued to spread all around, which direction of the fairy forest the people on the battlefield finally stopped fighting. Looking at the seal stripes under his feet in shock, is this the seal of the demons? Will the seal of the demons be opened? Damn. What's the matter? What to do? If the seal of the demons is broken, does it mean that the demons will invade? Son of a bitch, what the hell is going on? After seeing this situation, the two factions and two ethnic groups, which were still fighting, immediately raised waves of shocked doubts. It seems that many of them do not know that this battlefield is the edge of the seal of the demon clan. However, people in Fairyland naturally know something about the demons. Therefore, this one at this time will be so scared. Once the demons invade, is there peace in the Fairyland? The war elves of the elves are pale when they feel the movement of their home. No. The seal is about to be broken. Unexpectedly, they sacrificed more than 100 people and awakened many war elves, but they still didn't stop the catastrophe. Is this doomed or not? The after effect of the fight between the two emperors in the air is still going on, but at this moment, no one can get close at this time. Everyone was shocked and frightened by the information that the seal of the demon clan was about to be broken. For a moment, there was no other action. Only Yuzi Gui is crazy and wants to rush into the hands of the two emperors to stop, but in exchange, just don't rush to the end. Suzerain, it's useless. The power of the two emperors mingles with each other. It's too strong. No one can stop it. See Jade's son return that again want to stop of behavior. Big Elder finally can't see past of hastily stop. Jade's son return but still open have leaped to go. Poof. After being hit again, a mouthful of blood suddenly spurted out, and his face was pale and terrible. Lord. Several elders of Yuguishan rushed forward. It can't be like this. To stop it, we must stop the invasion of the demons. Jade's son returned pale complexion of want to get up again, want to continue to stop, but finally be suppressed by several elders down. Patriarch, if you go on like this you will die. The seal of the demon clan has been broken again. Now you can't stop it. You have to go back to the Jade Mountain to see if you can invite the beast to show up. Yes, Lord, Both the light faction and the dark faction have a divine beast guarding them. As long as we can ask the divine beast to show up before the invasion of the demon clan, maybe we can stop this catastrophe. Yes, I'll go to find the magic company in the Dark Cloud Palace right now. Master, go back to the Jade Mountain with the elder quickly. The 4 elders of Yuguishan said quickly. At this time, only what he said is the best arrangement. Now the only thing they can do is to see if they can invite the beast to show up. Yuzi Guiwen's speech also immediately remembered the statue of the beast. Yes, now the seal has become like this. The only thing that can stop is the beast. Go back. Yuzigi didn't care about his own injury. He jumped up in the air and went to Yuguishan quickly. The 4 elders, on the other hand, went in the direction of the dark faction. Magic Company, the Lord of Dark Cloud Palace. Because at this time to see the demon seal is about to be broken, also more or less guessed some situation. Damn dragon. I was cheated again. Magic Even's face absolutely can use black iron to describe. When the 4 elders of Yuguishan came to explain the situation to him, he nodded without hesitation and ran back to the Dark Cloud Palace with a group of disciples. As for the orcs and mermaids, because the demons are about to break, they immediately withdraw. Once the seal of the demons is broken and the demons invade, they must be fully prepared for war. Now the battle between the 2 factions, in the case of the invasion of the demons, has become low-end. The elves do not retreat or advance. Just like that, flying to one side, looking at the stripes of the seal of the demons below, looking at the 2 emperors in the blending of power in mid-air. Now it seems that everything is clear. I'm afraid that this war was caused by these 2 emperors. It's hard to understand why the 2 emperors, who clearly represent the 2 factions, joined hands to launch this war? Why? Is it to break the seal of the demons? There's no reason. However, the reason for this is unexpected. Everything is for love. And the biggest mistake of Fairyland is to get rid of their love without authorization. Of course, for others, there is no understanding. However, the consequences of the war caused by the 2 emperors made them sinners through the ages. Unfortunately, neither emperor cared. Therefore, the fight between the 2 emperors in midair was unreserved, and without hesitation the aftereffects of power are still going on. The seal stripes of the demons are getting clearer and clearer, and the shaking of the earth is becoming more and more persistent at this time. All parts of the fairyland were frightened by this movement. The upper bound, the human realm, is subject to certain fluctuations at the same time because of this movement. The seal of the demon clan has affected the turbulence of the 3 realms. When Nangong Yi and others came, they saw the battlefield full of corpses, the light of the seal stripes of the demon clan, and the 2 emperors who had fused their strength in mid-air. Even if they didn't know what was going on, they felt something was wrong. It seems that the strange and dark atmosphere in the air is very strong. The seal of the demon clan is being opened. Shangguan felt the change in the air, and his brow couldn't help wrinkling. Nangong Yi's eyes were on the dragon Qingxia in the air, with a dignified look. Why did he do that? This question, obviously, has not been answered. However, the other side of the Red Ling has opened his mouth. No matter how he does it, I just want to ask my master where. Since the sudden termination of the contract, several Hongling have been uneasy. Now I finally see the dragon. Hongling can't help it. The red figure flies away. Hongling, don't be impulsive. Be careful. Mengbai cried. But Hongling's figure has already rushed to the dragon's evil spirit. Didn't get shot out? The power of the 2 emperors was not limited to it. This, let some haven't had time to leave Fairyland people see, are extremely shocked. How can it be? But that's what happened. Moreover, as my own Hongling completely does not understand the situation. As soon as he arrived at the dragon's side he asked, "Where is my master?" Long Qingxia knew when they came to Nangong Yi, but he didn't plan to stop. As for seeing that Hongling was not limited by their power, it also surprised the 2 emperors. However, Long Qingxia soon understood. Hongling is fed by the blood of Yunwu, which flows with the blood of Yunwu, and Yunwu is naturally omnipotent. It's not surprising that the power of darkness and light is unrestricted. Within the demons, Long Qingxia only answered 3 words. But it's enough to make people understand. Their master is in the demons. No wonder their contract with her will be terminated. Can the hell survive? What can I do? I want to save my master too. Hongling said with great determination. Raised by Cloud Dance since childhood, it only obeys its own master, without any concept of right and wrong. Protect yourself. She's coming back soon. Long Qingxia suddenly laughs, and the power of darkness in his body is stronger and stronger. However, with the power he used, his breath became more and more dark and soft, and a certain change was also in it. There are also some changes in the charm side. But these changes, for two people, seem to care about the general. Nangong Yi and others see this, but their faces are slightly changed. They have heard the heresy of the dragon just now. Even if it's just a cloud dance, they won't stop it. It's just for a woman's sake, but it's too ridiculous to ignore the common people in the world. But most of the time, the common people in the world can't compare with the friendship in their hearts. They are human beings, not gods. If they can't do everything, they just want to take good care of the people around them. Long Qingxia, there's something wrong with your breath. If you don't worry about them, give the children to them first. Your breath will make the children unbearable. The charm suddenly spoke. Dragon Qing Evil slightly bowed his head. When he saw that the young master's face was really not right, his worry suddenly rose. Damn it, he forgot. Fortunately they are here. Hongling, protect my son. As soon as the voice fell, Long Qingxia sent his son into Hongling's arms. Hongling wanted to say something else, but when she saw the baby in her arms, she knew what she needed to do. That's its owner's child. The child who was said not to be born was born. We must protect him. When the red figure returned again, there was a baby in his arms. When Nangong Yi and others saw the baby, they immediately understood everything. It seems that there is no need to say. The tacit understanding between each other has not allowed too many words can understand. On the other side, the fire of Jiuyo Mansion almost attracted most of the demons. With the passage of time, the death of Jiuyo gradually spread. As soon as Jiuyo dies, it means that the balance of the demons has been broken, and the demons will start to invade the human world. When Leader Yi and the demon company arrived, the demons had surrounded the whole mountain. The version of Cloud Dance killing Jiuyo has been simulated into countless. However, all of them are full of curiosity and exploration about the woman who killed the demon guard. Who the hell is she? It has enough strength to kill Jiuyo. Why have you never heard of it? Girl, I heard that you are the cousin of Lord Jiuyo. I don't know what you are doing. When the headmaster Yi landed, his eyes were locked on Yunwu. Others may not be able to see through, but he saw that she was not a demon. Her strength was too strong and mysterious. That feeling is very similar to Jiuyo, but it is different and powerful. Therefore, I guess that she may be the cousin of Jiuyu that Elder Yi told him last time. Just did not expect this woman looks so beautiful. That kind of beauty, beyond the world, but there is a kind of God color. However, from her body, but did not feel the breath of God. Magic even follow after landing. When you see the clouds, face obviously slightly changed. It's you. She killed Jiuyo? How can it be? Last month, she just needed Jiuyo to rescue human beings. How could she kill Jiuyo? But when magic even eyes fell on her for a long time, the pupil unconsciously shrunk. Like Jiuyo? It seems that he also sensed something from Yunwu. However, compared with the calmness of Leader Yi, his face changed a lot, and he stared at her closely. You killed Jiuyo. Are you the next guard messenger who will take over Jiuyo? If that's the case, I'm afraid it will be more difficult in the future. It's a good time for us to hear from the other side of the seal. If we are stopped at this time, we will be very angry. But if that's the case, does he have a way to stop or kill her? No way. Even the strength of 9 you can't surpass. How can he kill 9 you her opponent? So this heart is angry, all kinds of complex. When he heard the question, many people around him began to talk about it. Because only that reason is the most appropriate. Kill Jiuyo and take over the next guard. Otherwise, I don't know why. But they never thought that Cloud Dance's answer would be so powerful. No, I killed him just to break the seal. A very simple reason. A sentence is enough to explain. But the content is very strong. Some people didn't react for a long time, especially the magic company. Yes, the leader can't digest it. She wants to break the seal? Why isn't she human? Does she not know what will happen to the 3 realms after the seal is broken? The exploration in the eyes of Headmaster, he has been falling on Yunwu. When he saw that she was not joking seriously, he suddenly became dignified. Slowly stepped forward. Girl, do you know what kind of consequences will be caused to your people once what you said is implemented? As soon as he said that, Magic's voice rang out without waiting for Yunwu to answer. You're joking, leader. What's the consequence? Don't forget that we demons are the race that lived before they were human beings. They sealed us in this ghost place. They are the nest of doves. That is, why can't we demons live in the 3 realms? We are just living a free life. Why should we be charged with heinous crimes? That is, for thousands of years, I haven't seen what the old people said about the sun. All these things are given by the Protoss. Why should we stay in this ghost place? Yes, I also want to see what color flowers and plants are. Me too. All around the noise suddenly set off, but their words are inexplicable, some sad. Leader Yi frowned. He knew better than others about this situation. Otherwise, his Yifeng Mountain would not be the one to suppress the demons. Girl, listen to my advice. No matter what reason you have, this seal can't be broken. Among them it's not just the demons and the human world. Cloud Dance smells speech, but indifferent smile. Well, of course she knows. Otherwise, she would not be so determined to break the seal. If you say that breaking the seal of the demon clan will release the Protoss under the demon clan, it doesn't seem to concern me, does it? Cloud Dance says very relaxed, but let the face of the headmaster instantly changed. She knows? How can she? Even if she is in Juyo's family, she can't know this. Even if it is Juyo, it is impossible to know. How did she? Unfortunately, he didn't know. The reason why Yunwu knew it was because she went to see the future. And in that future, even if she did not break the seal would not last long. And the devouring Protoss would still climb out of the earth soon after. Once the devouring Protoss is born, the role of her children and men becomes obvious. It turns out that their birth, meeting and birth everything is arranged by the Protoss. The feeling of fate being manipulated is fucked. She must not repeat the same mistake. Girl, can you take a step? Leader Yi suddenly comes forward and wants to discuss with Yunwu. But Yunwu flicks his hand and controls the fire element to erect a wall of fire not far in front of him, which means to keep him away. You don't have to hide anything. Why should the demons pay for the mistakes made by the Protoss? Why should we let our race suffer thousands of years of sin for the sake of a Protoss? I'm right, Lord Devil. The word devil suddenly changed the headmaster's face. The original gentle indifferent, like what to freeze in general, become extremely rigid. However, after hearing this again, the demons were stunned. Lord Demon? Is that the legendary demon god of their demon clan? How can it be? Since the demon clan was sealed, I heard that the demon also disappeared, and never appeared again. How could this demon god become the leader of Yifeng Mountain? Isn't that too self-effacing? However, the sight around is still unconsciously stuck on the leader's body, and the palpitation in his heart can be seen on every demon's face. The devil. They're gods. Leader Yi, no, it should be said that it's the Lord Demon. His face is recovering gradually. However, that handsome face is no longer a disguised elegant, but a strong breath from the bones. In full view of the public, his gray posture also changed. He was a little tall, and his facial features were more beautiful. However, a red and black totem appeared between his eyebrows, which opened around his eyebrows. It's not ugly, but it adds a bit of mystery to him. This is the real appearance of the demon god. He looked at the Cloud Dance. His expression was no longer gentle, but with a deep momentum. If you can know my identity and the existence of the devouring Protoss, what else do you know? Why do you want to break the seal? The devil god can become the god of the devil family. Naturally, it can't only rely on brute force. It must have certain wisdom. Otherwise, at the beginning, he would not have the ability to sign an agreement with the whole Protoss with one person's strength. The Protoss could not personally fight against the demons. Hearing what he said, Yunwoo knew that he was asking her for a reason. If her reason doesn't work, he will definitely stop her from breaking the seal. What if I say, to change destiny? Do you believe it? You are a demon god. You should be very clear about the significance of our sorcery. However, I don't want to conform to the destiny. Speaking of the last sentence, Yunwoo is very serious. Is that the only reason? Obviously, that's not enough. Cloud dance smell speech. Hook lips a smile. However, that smile but with a kind of ironic meaning. In fact, the Lord Demon should also feel it. Even if I don't break the seal now, it will only take a few days for the devouring Protoss to break the seal. In that case, it's better to take this opportunity. That word let Demon God's facial expression change slightly finally. Yeah, if he didn't feel something, he wouldn't be out of the mountain. But what he didn't expect was that she was the first one who was specially arranged by the Protoss to deal with the biting Protoss. In fact, although he has been sleeping for thousands of years, it doesn't mean he doesn't know anything about the outside world. He knows everything he should know. For example, in order to suppress the demons, the Protoss sent the elves to suppress them. For example, the significance of the existence of witches. For example, the true origin of that dragon's evil spirit. Another example is the chess piece specially designed by the Protoss. This girl was born in another world and has a strong sense of self-reliance. She is a very good seedling. It's enough for her to combine with him to give birth to a child and fight against the devouring Protoss by 2 generations. It's a pity that the Protoss has made a mistake. That is, how can she be willing to become a pawn of the Protoss if she has such an alternative self-improvement soul body? On the contrary, what the Protoss did chilled her heart. I don't know if the Protoss will make a mark on their always superior honor. Think of this, the devil can't help but smile. However, he still reminded her. Are you sure you want to do that? Do you know that if you do that, the devouring Protoss will not only climb out of the earth, but also offend the whole Protoss? It's not necessary for him to remind her what the Protoss represents. How could Yunwoo not know what he meant? But so what? Isn't the Protoss ready to sacrifice her, her children and her men? If so, why is she afraid of the Protoss? Screw offending, she not only offends, if she can, she really doesn't mind killing his so-called Protoss. If I insist, will you stop me? Cloud Dance looks at him directly. Her meaning is already very obvious. This seal, no matter what, she will break it. Seeing this, the demon god just looked at her for a moment, then shook his head. I am the demon god, the demon god. If you can free us from the misery, I should thank you. Why should I stop you? Well, it's beautiful, and all the people present, the demons, who were excited, couldn't help cheering loudly. Magic even, at this time some digestion feeling, faced some strange. In fact, he is not to blame. Because not long ago he was still aggressive to the devil, and even planned to fight with him. This did not expect, all of a sudden, said that this person is their demon lord. It's a normal person. It's the same expression. However, hearing the words of the Lord Demon, even the demon was excited. Because the demon lord's words are tantamount to acquiescence. The seal of the demon family can be broken. So, the demons can finally see the light again soon. I don't know who said it first. How about we break the seal together? As soon as that sentence fell, it immediately set off a turbulent upsurge. Come on, go back and call all the people, and call as many people as possible. We are going to leave this ghost place. Yes, how many people? Originally just around to see the excitement of the demon people, immediately can be extremely excited to call for help. In the dark sky, bursts of thunder kept, but the seal was not broken. It seems that we are still short of strength. Now that the demon god of the demon clan has spoken, whereas the whole demon clan divided into 2 groups. Let's work together to break the seal for such a situation. Yunwoo couldn't help laughing with satisfaction. At least she was right. The demon god can be trusted. Because in Yenwuka, he is the god who really understands the wisdom of God. One is willing to let his whole clan be sealed in this ghost place for the sake of his clan and the whole Protoss, but later for the sake of the 3 realms. From this, we can see that he is far more noble than those so-called Protoss. Your child still needs some strength. Just as the masked demons gathered their hands, the demon god, like ordinary people, said with a smile when he saw the little fat girl. Cloud Dance smells speech, lowered head to see the daughter in oneself bosom. I know. But I don't have time for her to grow up. If I wait for her to grow up, I'm afraid the Protoss's plot will be achieved. After hearing this, the demon god thought for a while and then asked, "Where do you know this?" Yunwu was silent for a while before answering him, "Heavenly book." "The book of heaven?" The evil spirit picks eyebrow to see to her. "Do you mean, 9 you in the hand of that day book?" Yes, Yunwu nods. However, the devil laughs inexplicably. It seems that he knows something, but he doesn't break it. But chatting like said, "Did not expect. You this wench also quite has the ability. Is not guards the boundary emissary's successor also to be able to see the book of heaven? He and I are of the same race." This sentence has already explained a lot of meanings. Indeed, it's very sad that you witch people live according to the destiny all their lives. For example, your mother. Demon God suddenly said such a sentence. As for intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know. Can Cloud Dance but listen to go in. The facial expression suddenly a change. Star Mouth flashed a put-on streamer of looking at that evil spirit. "Do you know where my mother is now?" Her mother didn't die, which was known in the human world. However, she couldn't find any trace. Well, I know a little. Can you tell me? Cloud Dance looked at the demon god, and his tone obviously softened. Although she has never seen the mother, she knows how a mother feels about her children. She wants to find her mother. I don't know exactly where she is, but she is the only one who can control you. I don't think the Protoss will let you find her so easily. What? Hearing the devil's words, Yunwu's face suddenly sank. Protoss. Protoss again. That's right. They are the chess pieces in the hands of the Protoss. It's not surprising that her mother disappeared and fell into the hands of the Protoss. However, it also shows that the Beast Gate must be related to the Protoss Dam. Is it that in order to let her grow up, and to achieve the secret of the Protoss just let the people of Beasts do harm to the world? Think of in order to destroy the Beast Gate, not only let the 3 world almost corpse all over the wild spirit painted charcoal, but also let Morong grandmother, Sheeting and Bai Lao sacrifice. Cloud Dance can't help the anger in the heart. Protoss, goddamn Protoss. The fist clenched tightly, and a murderous intention was released, which brought a strong natural pressure. It made many people retreat, and their eyes were stained with fear. That woman is so powerful. However, this kind of impetuous breath was soon restrained by Yunwu. Look up at the devil. If you can say it at this time, can you help me? If the devil is willing to help, maybe it will have a better chance of success. But the demon god shook his head and said with a helpless smile, I can't intervene, otherwise, what will come will be the hands of the gods. Believe me, it's a hard way to go, but if it's you, there may be a chance for a miracle. The devil's words are so deep that people can't guess. However, Yunwu also understood his meaning. He can't help, otherwise his agreement with the Protoss will be void. At that time, I'm afraid that not only she, but also their demons will be restless. Also, why should she let the whole family accompany her crazy? But if he didn't stop her from breaking the seal, it was clear that he also hoped that the miracle would happen. In that case, she was not reluctant. Seeing that the gathering of demons took a little time, Yunwu asked another question. What will you do when the seal is broken? Look on. The devil answered very simply. Because all he can do is watch. Can I ask you a favor? Yunwu looks at him expectantly. However, the demon god slightly raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, You should know what I just said. I don't want you to help me deal with the Protoss, but just do me a little favor. It won't interfere with your agreement with the Protoss. What's the matter? Save my mother, even if I can't, at least help me protect her, give me a little time, I can take her home. If the Protoss wanted to threaten her with her mother, she solved the problem ahead of time. And the only one who can protect her mother is this demon. So you trust me? The demon god asked with a smile. Cloud Dance also hook lip a smile looking at him. I believe. 2 words, but like a stone in 2 people's hearts. There is a sense of a hammering. Half a ring. The demon god finally laughed, the very frank one. Well, for the sake of your letter, I helped you. However, I can only protect, not rob. I understand. Thank you first. Don't be in a hurry to thank you. It's not too late to thank you when you have a chance to meet someone. At this point, the demon god turned his head and looked around. More and more demon people gathered around, sighing and saying, "In return, you should take care of my people as much as possible." Breaking the seal means that the next thing the demons need to face is not only the people of the 3 realms and 6 realms, but also the god. The Protoss can't let the demons break the seal like that. There must be action. I hope this cloud dance can protect the Protoss before they appear. However, the devil also knows that this and that disaster cannot be avoided. Sooner or later, it will come to this point. Someone broke this rule ahead of time. It's better to go with the trend. Perhaps, that can receive unexpected surprise. I will try my best. Yunwu nods. Take care then. Take care. The conversation between them stopped after this sentence. The devil's figure soon disappeared in place, as if into the darkness. Cloud Dance quietly watching, light smile. This war perhaps has really come to the end. Mom, I can help you deal with the bad guys. Don't worry. At this moment, the little fat girl suddenly opened her mouth. Originally, she sensed that silk uneasiness and absolutely from Cloud Dance's body. In fact, she can really be very powerful and can help. Cloud Dance but fondly rubbed her small head. Don't worry, when you grow up, you can help your mother. Now, you should protect yourself if you can also protect your brother, you know. As long as the seal is broken, she can see her man and son. She knew that Long Qingxia would not let her down. He must have found his son, and is trying to pick her up. Think of dragon poor evil, the bottom of my heart that absolutely become warm up. Even for the sake of that trace of warmth, she also must fight. What's more, it's still a battle that can't be lost. My lord, people are almost here. When do we start to break the seal? Just as Cloud Dance was meditating, suddenly came the voice of Magic Company. This time, he looked at Yunwu with respectful fear, but also a kind of excitement. Just now, he heard the conversation between her and Lord Demon. Although don't understand this woman exactly what ability, but can let demon god adults so open mouth of person, certainly strength is not bad. Breaking the seal and returning to the world is just around the corner. Can make him not excited. I didn't expect that his goal of returning to the world would be realized by the human woman who broke into the demon clan. It seems that some things are really unexpected. With the question of Magic Company, all the demons around looked at Yunwu with excitement. Break the seal. Break the seal. All the shouts spread all over the night sky. Cloud Dance stands in front of the fire, slender posture. At this time it seems so tall and dazzling, at least in the eyes of the demons, it is so exciting. After the seal is broken, I only ask you one thing. You can't kill innocent people in vain. As long as you can do this, I will try my best to ensure that you can survive in the 3 realms in the future. Otherwise, don't blame me for not caring about my promise to you. This voice fell, the original sound of a chorus of excited shouts, suddenly silent down. After thousands of years of darkness, there is hatred in the hearts of the demons, but more desire. However, Yunwu's words made them meditate, thinking after entering the human world. Can they really stop killing human beings and vent their anger? But the meditation was soon broken, because they found that as long as they could leave this ghost place, let alone one condition, they would agree even if there were 10 or 8 conditions. As for killing human beings, although they have hatred in their hearts, they do not have to kill. After all, their desire to see the light again is better than killing people. Yes, I promise. I promise. I also promise. A response sound, soon a sentence of the ring. However, Yunwu's vision fell on the demon Lian. Your answer, represents the whole demon clan. The master of the demon sect was killed by her. Now the leader of the demon sect should be him. Magic even smell words. How can you not know the meaning of her words? He will be in charge of the demon sect. And if he has the idea of killing people to vent his anger, It means that the whole demon sect will also be a great trouble for human beings. In fact, Malian's mood is complicated. After all, after so long with the demon lord, he was determined to break the seal and return to the human world. As for the question of killing people or not, it will depend on what their patriarch orders. All of a sudden he became the leader, but he didn't know how to arrange it. However, at this time, although magic even complex, but it is not without eyesight. Even if they are valued by the Lord, how can he offend and disobey those who trade? In order to return to the human world, he can agree to the conditions. I can agree, but only if we are not attacked. It means that if humans attack them, they will also backhand. Cloud Dance has no objection to this. Well, as long as you meet my requirements, I will try my best to ensure that you can survive in the 3 realms. At that time, Yunwu didn't say much. Instead, he turned around and looked at the burning mansion behind him. The seal is here. We just need to work together. Good. The chorus of Howran answers resounded through the sky. Next, when the force of concerted efforts hit into the fire at the same time, the ground vibration was finally lifted like huge thunder. Cloud Dance at that moment also jumped up in the air, standing on the seal. A force emanating from her body, such as destroying the sky and the earth, directly attacked the fire. The power is the purity of light and the purity of darkness. Very strange fusion of the two, perhaps the first of all time and at the same time fairyland. The pattern of the seal has developed to the dazzling light, and the power of the fusion of the 2 emperors in mid-air is making the final impact. But I didn't expect that the impact of both sides at the same time has just become a real opportunity to break the last layer. The seal was broken in a very harsh way. At that moment, the earth trembled and the mountains and rivers flowed back. The whole 3 realms are afraid of this sudden change. Protoss. When the seal was broken, there was a big or small stir and anger in a place within the Protoss. Chessman, do you want to rebel? All the gods are angry at the same time. The Dark Cloud Palace, Yuguishan, 2 sacred animal statues of the sect, were activated at the same time. The broken stone, the beast light from the air. The beast wakes up. A fiery red beast with 4 different features flew out of Yugué Mountain. Another beast, which was like a dragon flying, a phoenix not a phoenix, also flew out of the Dark Cloud Palace. The direction of the 2 beasts at the same time was where the seal was broken. Roar! Huh! The roar of the beast instantly resounded into the fairyland. The figure of Dragon Qingxia and demon separated at the moment when the seal was broken. The consumption of power made the 2 emperors look bad. But when I heard the roar of the 2 beasts, the evil spirit looked at the dragon and said, "It's the beast guarding the 2 sects that wakes up. You should be careful not to be caught by them." The meaning of that sentence, before long Qingxia had time to ask clearly, the earth suddenly split on both sides. The black hole of the endless abyss seems to be diffused in the gap between the 2 sides. Then a figure came out of the crack. Cloud Dance. Long Qingxia's hoarse voice called out subconsciously, but he didn't care that his body was exhausted and weak for a short time, so he suddenly danced to the clouds. His woman finally came back. That kind of excitement, no one can understand. It's Xiaowu. Xiaowu is back. She's back. Master. Because of the earth shaking and transformation, Nangongyi and others, who retreated to a safe distance, saw the figure coming out of the black hole. Also all excited shout out. That kind of friendship, others cannot understand. Even the young master in Nangongyi's arms seems to feel his mother's coming back, waving his fat hand like a cry. Long Qingxia. When Yunwu saw the man who was coming towards her, her eyes became hot, and the so-called brilliance on her seemed to disappear. Just because her man, holding a little fat girl, quickly toward the dragon. Little fat girl, big eyes straight, Lulu looking at the dragon, poor evil, for her father. She is strange. However, she still remembers that when she and her mother were almost killed by the villain, he appeared and saved them. She had heard her mother say that he was her father, called Daddy. I can see that he seems to care about his mother. But what about her brother? Mother said that she wanted to protect her brother. So after looking at her father, little fat girl is the first to find her brother. Mom, I saw my brother. I went to find him. Little fat girl suddenly struggled to break away from Yunwu's arms and wanted to protect her weak brother. But roar! Huh! Two roars of fury came from two directions. Before long, Qingxia meets with Yunwu, and before Yunwu releases Xiapengniu to protect her brother, the two beasts came from the sky. Be careful! Be careful! Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance shout for each other, almost at the same time. Two figures, with the other side to avoid at the same time. Bang! A huge explosion, at that moment, in the position where they are about to meet, suddenly burst away. The aftereffects of the force explosion spread from all around. Long Qingxia and Yunwu evaded the explosion, but they didn't have time to avoid the aftershock. In order to protect the little fat girl, after the cloud dance, she was directly hit to the ground. It's not easy for Long Qingxia. He was already weak because of exhaustion of strength. Under such impact, he fell to the ground and his throat was sweet. You are so bold that you dare to destroy the seal and release the demons that endanger the world. Before the figures of the two beasts arrived, the majestic voice came down from the air. Lingren's words put a rebellious hat on everyone present. Cloud Dance and Dragon Pour Evil, almost tacit understanding from the ground up that moment, toward each other close. However, the two beasts seemed to deliberately prevent them from approaching. A powerful attack, but also aimed at the middle of the two. But just then, come out! Haha, finally back. Damn, the light here is so dazzling, the sun is so warm. This is the world. It's really dazzling. Inside the cracked black hole on the ground, black figures came breathlessly and excitedly, like climbing countless floors. From the first few, to more and more dense. A harsh but exciting sound, accompanied by a dark breath, comes from the cracks of the black hole. Hundreds, thousands. The demon clan, after being sealed for thousands of years, has seen the light again. However, there is no such thing as killing. Yes, after the demons came out of the black hole, they made some strange marks on their faces. But none of them was fierce, just like the bumpkins from ancient times. After coming out, the first reaction is to feel the warm sunshine, dazzling light, green vegetation, colorful flowers and plants. Even the yellow soil felt so strange. The demons are still coming out. This scene finally let the two beasts from the air to see the fierce breath of the air. Be presumptuous. The beast is guarding here. If you don't give it to me, go back quickly. As the powerful sound fell, two beasts appeared in the sky. The oppressive force of the beast is invisible. At that moment, people under the sky felt the oppression of the strong. I didn't expect that it was just a beast with such strong strength. However, for the demons, it can't scare them away. At least, in front of them, Cloud Dance can make them feel fear. These two beasts are just two dogs of the Protoss. They finally see the light again. How can they let these two be scared back? You too, if you have the ability to come down and fight, you'll be so noisy in mid-air. That is, I was sealed in the dark place by your Protoss for so long, and I just didn't vent my anger. We promised adults not to kill innocent human beings, but we didn't say that we couldn't kill two things that are neither insect nor bird. It's just, come down, I promise not to kill you. The rough and arrogant voice of the demons spread in an instant. Cloud Dance heard, suddenly some laughing and crying. Are these demons too complacent? This just came out, so the tone of rampant tone to pick things. I really don't know if they are too bold, or they really itch. But she didn't stop them. Although they felt a little bit dark, their provocation to the two beasts, on the contrary, gave her space and time. The two beasts in mid-air, as the beasts sent by the Protoss to suppress here, are extremely arrogant. I didn't expect that as soon as I woke up, I heard the demons dare to challenge their dignity. Isn't that provocative? How can you bear it? Roar. Unlike the beast, it suddenly fell into the air, and went straight to the cracked black hole. In addition to stopping the seal hole, we also need to show the eloquent demons that just now, but we can't challenge them. As for the phoenix-like beast, it was still in the air. Looking down at the Cloud Dance and Dragon, the power is waiting for a shot. Their awakening, in addition to preventing the demons, is to prevent the two pieces from intersecting, and to seize the light and the dark. As for the reason, they don't know. However, the order of the Protoss is not to disobey the divine power. Dragon, stop it. See that four don't like to stop the moment of the demon people. Cloud dance hurriedly toward the dragon. Poor evil cry. This beast is obviously trying to stop them from meeting. The reason is unknown, but she knows it. The Protoss is afraid that these two pieces of them will be rebellious after meeting. Only when they are separated can they be in control. However, how can Cloud Dance let that happen? After hearing the words of Cloud Dance, Long Qingxia immediately understood it. Nodding across the air, the tall figure suddenly jumped up in the air and went straight to the non-dragon and phoenix beast in the air. Huh! The roar of anger, accompanied by endless majesty, is rising. The invisible force directly attacked the dragon. Yunwu takes advantage of this opportunity, but at the same time, she also rises in the air. At the moment when the dragon can't resist the evil, she shoots from the other side. After the awakening, the power of the witch saint has two kinds of special power, which set off a strange phagocytosis. The god beast originally disdains, but when sensing that strength, the beast eye suddenly changes. The animal body quickly dodged towards the other half, staggering the attack power of Yunwu. Cloud Dance also grasped this opportunity and went straight to the dragon. At that moment, the non-dragon and phoenix beast seemed to understand her behavior and wanted to stop it, but found that the Cloud Dance speed was too fast. Girl, don't. But the voice of the beast's exclamation hasn't come down yet. The hands of Yunwu and Long Qingxi have been tightly held together, and at that moment, a very strange breath suddenly fell from the air and shrouded them in an instant. Around the world aura, also in that second, like a whirlpool, in an instant towards the two people's body into. However, it was at that moment that the crack in the black hole of the demons on the ground seemed to have lost too much aura, leading to a collapse. However, share is not to close, but to expand. It seems that the things under the deepest ground are awakened by this collapse. The ground is shaking again. There was a kind of panic and anger in the two beasts. Stop them at this time. The figures of Long Qingxia and Yunwu are surrounded by the spiritual power. It seems that they need enough aura to awaken something. At this time, they should not be disturbed. So, when the two beasts were about to block this, the demon who had been watching sighed and moved. This catastrophe can't be avoided. Why do you have to put in more hands? At the moment of meeting the spirit, he said this to the two beasts. But that sentence made the two beasts look bad. It's very brave of you to wait for a mortal in the fairyland to speculate on the secret of heaven. It's not like you're angry. Don't talk to him. It's important to stop that piece. Non-dragon and phoenix beast quickly said. Alas, Charm suddenly heaves a sigh. The world says that I don't know how to cherish blessings and I'm too crazy. In fact, I want to say that it's your God who is superior to you. He doesn't care about blessings. It's clear that everyone is happy, but he just wants to kill. As soon as the words fall, the charming figure is already in the air. At that moment his eyes closed, and a very strange force emanated from his body, the ultimate pure light. Also at that moment, the aura of heaven and earth around, like a more crazy surging up, towards the two people of Yunwu. He has no power to stop the two beasts. In this case, let's try our best to leave and help them. Also as the original Cloud Dance to do those things compensation. Damn it, you're trying to kill yourself. Don't commit suicide. The two beasts never thought that the appearance of the charm was not to stop them, but to help the two pieces. What's the matter with all the people in this world? Clearly know that the world is about to face a catastrophe, but not only do not stop, but also to protect and help the sacrifice. However, at that moment, a strong light burst out from the charm. The pure power of light suddenly enveloped the sky. May, what are you doing? In the heart, suddenly came the Longqing evil angry voice. This is the voice of mutual exchange. Under the light, the charm of the handsome face raised a touch of radiance, but the smile is more ugly than crying. Cherish the time between you. The only thing I can do is this. Don't feel sorry. This is my relief. Yes, this may be his relief. After living alone for 300 years, I finally got to this day. It's enough. It's enough. For 300 years, every day and night has been a torment to him. Now at last I can see her. He very happy. Say sorry to Yunwu for me. The last sentence is getting weaker. Magic. The cry of dragon's evil spirit never got any answer. The enchanted body shrouded by the light, under the dissipation of the extreme light, began to break with the wind. Finally, it turned into a dust and disappeared on the earth. This scene happened too fast. There was no chance for people to react at all. The charming figure disappeared, and the strong light in midair was fading away. However, at the moment when the light dissipated, the dark and bright light on Yunwu and Long Qingxi lit up. Two rays of light entangled together, gradually rising. Like a pillar of light, it soars to the sky. At that moment, the two beasts finally reacted and their faces changed greatly. No. But the two words just called out, the light column has rushed into the vast sky. Silence. At that moment, all the sounds around seemed to stop. A space of terrible silence enveloped the whole earth. But it only lasted a few seconds. Random, a mighty afterwave from the air boom. Thunder? No, it's a kind of shaking sound like the sky is about to fall down. And the sound above the sky is rippling like waves. Everyone looked up at the sky under the light column. Boom. Just after another loud noise, a dazzling color light seemed to leak out from a crack in the sky. Extremely beautiful. However, it also has a very strange burning feeling. It hurts. People on the earth, at that moment, seemed to be in a kind of suffering. There was a howl of misery. However, the crack in the sky is bigger and bigger, and the colorful light is more and more dazzling. Just when people thought they were going to die under the colorful light, the light that pierced the sky in midair suddenly burst out. The color light is dispersed by the force in the burst. The dragon in the pillar of light was dancing with the clouds. At that moment, it seemed that it was exhausted and fell from the sky. Little 5. Evil. Little dance. Master. Seeing this, Nangongyi and others jump up in the air to catch them. When they saw the crack in the sky, they seemed to be angered. How can you break the way of heaven? You are really not afraid of death. Okay, go back with me and stand trial. Without giving Nangongyi and others a chance, the two beasts first stop Yunwu and Long Qingxi. And it seems that they are also afraid that the physical strength of the two pieces will recover. And the two beasts will not care about the others after they receive them. Immediately turned into two aurora, extremely fast sky. In the twinkling of an eye disappeared in the crack of the sky. Cloud dance. Nangongyi and other people's faces change and shout, but there is nothing they can do. As for those demons who have just seen the sun, they are even more confused. What's the situation? Aren't those two beasts meant to stop them? How could this blink of an eye not only ignore them, but also leave like this? The demons still continue to come out of the black hole, but they are the first to come out and see the demons in that scene. But I still don't understand the situation. However, they know that the adult who helped them break the seal has been arrested. Grandma's bear, they haven't touched a human yet, so the Protoss is too arrogant. Did they catch their adults as soon as they appeared? Magic Company is the leader of the demons. When he saw the moment Yunwu was captured, he was actually a little excited, because in that way he could not be unscrupulous. However, the little conscience in his heart made him uncomfortable. Protoss too arrogant. Little ones, you should be more agile. When you're ready, let's go to the divine world first. The crack in the sky is the way to enter the divine world. What does it mean to be forced to open the door of heaven? Others may not understand it for a while, but for the demons, they know what it means. Now that the door of heaven is open, they will go to the divine world first. By the way, let's see what the Protoss want to do with them, my lord. Yes, Malian suddenly felt that he wanted to try the taste of Protoss more than kill human beings. And the gods within the Protoss. His face became very ugly and angry, because the way of heaven was forced to open. These two pieces not only don't obey the order to stop the demons and destroy the devouring Protoss, but also join hands to break the way of heaven. This is a rebellion. Just as the demons want to climb the way of heaven and go to the divine world, Tianjiang is very angry. It rained all over the sky and began to fall from the sky. It's like trying to stop it with flood. but that action, but created another kind of disaster in the world. In the request but not, it is to promote the world to the Protoss big resentment rise. God depends on people to worship and revere. Once there is resentment, this is the beginning of the evil in the divine world. However, at this time, it is still later. What happened at this time was a picture of the demon people planning to enter the heaven and the divine world. And the sky was raining heavily. Damn it, these Protoss want to use the flood to prevent us from entering the divine world. Yes, the Protoss is stupid enough. We demons won't be afraid of this, but the Terrans are different. Isn't this a sin of our own? That is, even if we can stop our steps for a while, the price is too high. The discussion of the demons spread quickly. However, the two people in the fairyland and the elves fell into another confrontation. Yes, it's confrontation. Dealing with the opposition of the demons. Unfortunately, in the face of the hostile behavior of the fairyland people, the demon people are just like a nobody. They just refer to the gossiping on the rainy day. In fact, they are not unable to sense the hostility of the people in the fairyland. However, they promised Yunwu that they would not kill themselves. So they won't do it first, but once they do it first, they won't be polite. It's not for no reason that the demons will be afraid of being sealed by the Protoss. Lord, what should we do now? Do you want to fight or not? Elder Yugoishan, I really don't know what's going on now. I can't help asking my own patriarch. What happened during this period is really beyond their understanding. The war between the two factions, the seal of the demons broken, the invasion of the demons, the awakening of the beast, but in the end, it was not the picture they imagined. What way of heaven was opened, but the original guard of the two groups of beasts left on the spot, and the legend of the ferocious demon people. But it's just like a common man, like a bumpkin. There's no so-called ferocity. On the contrary, they are more like normal people than they are not calm. What's going on? But no one will answer them. Yuzigi is also very complicated at this time. Looking at this scene, he also fell into an inexplicable meditation. Are the demons, as the Protoss said, harmful to the world? At this point, they are just like ordinary people. On the other side, even the Dark Cloud Palace side of the court also fell into a tangle at the same time. This fight or not? They don't know the strength of the demons. They just know that the demons in the rumor are ferocious and represent evil. Can see now that a gossip home, to them indifferent of the demons, where there is a little bit of the so-called ferocious awe. For a moment, they don't know whether to do it or not. As for the elves, but they also fell into a different mood. It was not that they were struggling with whether to fight, but that they had just heard the news from the elders of the clan. This one they can't do it. Yes, the elders of their clan have been closed to the four old men for some time. Unexpectedly, but in this checkpoint, the elders went out. Moreover, there was news that they could not do it. Just let them watch. Once the demons enter the way of heaven, they will follow them back to the Protoss. As for the reason, the elders did not explain. Therefore, for a moment, the fairyland fell into such a triangle situation. However, their entanglement did not affect Nangong-yi. They have been taken up. What shall we do? With our strength, we can't go up to heaven and enter the divine world. Do we just watch and do nothing? No, I feel that they are in a lot of trouble. Besides, without any backup, we can't do nothing. Yes, we can't do nothing. Nangonji, can't you predict something? You said, what can we do to help them? Yes, just think about what we can do. Nangong-yi was asked by them one by one, and he began to meditate. In fact, with their strength, the fairyland can be regarded as the limit, not to mention the divine world. What has happened since the war against the Beast Gate is more and more beyond their ability. Even if they are anxious and want to help, they seem to have no way to start. This kind of feeling is really bad. They are the companions of life and death, and they are indispensable companions in life. It really frustrates them to let them know that they are in danger, but they can't help it. But even so, they can't stand by. If the strength is limited, we should try our best to do it. Since the breakthrough of Nangong-yi's strength, his third eye has been closed. It's not that he can't use it, but there's no time to use it. Maybe now is the time. Let me see what the way of heaven is first. With that, Nangong-yi looks up at the crack in the sky. At that moment, a crack suddenly opened on his smooth forehead, and an eye suddenly opened from his forehead. Under his third eye, there will be no escape for any person or thing. But now, with the third eye to see the way of heaven, I don't know if it can be useful. After half a ring. When Shangguan and others saw that he had been holding his head up, they were anxious not to buy it. How's it going? Did you see anything? Don't rush him, he needs some time, he said. However, just under her words, Nangongyi suddenly has a movement. Inexplicable, a dull hum, the body a shock. Nangongyi suddenly lowered his head. What's the matter? Praying that night was a little worried. He quickly reached out to help him. Shangguan and others also found something wrong, worried and asked, "What's the matter? Are you all right?" Nangongyi raised his hand and shook it. After a long time he raised his head. However, the bloodstain on his forehead is not negligible. People's faces changed greatly. Nangongyi, your eyes. Nangongyi's eyes are red, but he can still see them, but his third eye is, it's okay. There are still two eyes to see. Light but a word, but let people understand what meaning. His third eye abandoned. What the hell happened? How could your eyes suddenly look like this? Yes, what happened? All of a sudden, people were obviously worried. Nangongyi wiped the bloodstain on his forehead. He saw that there was only one scar left in the original eye-opening position. It was very deep and shocking. To tell you the truth, everyone took a breath when they saw his wound. How could that be? What happened just now? It's clear that there's no movement. How can it suddenly? It's nothing. It's just that when I want to see the way of heaven, it seems that I was found, and the Protoss took back my third eye. In fact, he didn't say it. Just now, he seemed to have heard a saying that the Protoss said that they would punish their family. Beloved of the Protoss. That is the divination skill of their Nangong family, including his third eye. Damn it. Don't the Protoss declare that we are their puppets? If you don't like it, you're going to kill us all. That's a damn bad feeling. That's right. Anyway, I'm alone now. I have the ability to let them come to me. My life is saved by cloud dance. I'm not afraid of death. The Shangguan was angry. Mengbai and others are also dignified. Despite their words, reality has to be considered. Protoss, can they really resist? The answer, in fact, is in everyone's mind. Let's go back to the upper bound first, I think. Nangongyi suddenly said to his companion. But, without waiting for others to speak, Nangongyi continued to explain. Long Qingxia gave the child to us for protection. The first thing we should do is to protect the child first. Yes, they have a baby in their arms. Shangguan held the young master, and looked down at him subconsciously. What he wanted to refute could only be kept silent. In addition, with our current strength, we can't help at all here. It's better to return to our home court. I believe that the reason why Protoss become Protoss must be supported by the other three realms. And our home court is just the human realm and the upper realm. Therefore, the only bargaining chip we can fight against Protoss is the human realm and the upper realm. As long as they can grasp the two realms when necessary, with the power of the two realms, they will certainly play some role. And that function is the best support for Cloud Dance and Dragon's evil. If they stay in this fairyland, they have no strength to do anything here. Even if they can do something, they will not shake the Protoss. Moreover, the demons have been born, which is enough to involve the Protoss. We will go back to our home court, and then try to unite the three worlds. Nangongyi's last words completely made everyone submit. Yes, they can't do anything with their strength alone. Okay. Then they go back to the upper world and the human world. We'll be right back. Yes. After everyone agreed, Nangongyi didn't delay a minute and a half. A few people on the rapid direction of departure. When Yuzigi thought of the bright sun in their arms, their figure had disappeared for a long time. Divine world. Sure enough, the divine world is totally different from the three realms. Picturesque scenery, for seasons like spring full of flowers, green hills and streams, lush vegetation, but the house, all as one kind, floats above the cloud, each characteristic house. For example, it's made of wrought tan or crystal even. There are some more European-style fortresses. After being brought into the divine world by Si Xiang and Fei Feng Long, Yunwu and Long pour out evil spirits. In fact, they wake up early. However, because the consumed physical strength is still recovering, so they are very calm lying on the back of the beast, quietly looking at the surrounding environment. Yes, both of them were still holding hands when they fell, so they were both lying on their backs. Of course, including the little fat girl in the arms of Cloud Dance. Are you afraid? Cloud Dance slightly slants ahead, looking at the man nearby to ask such a sentence. At this time, Long Qingxia's handsome and evil face, because of the complete darkness, appears to have some yin qi, but it still does not damage his evil beauty. Hearing the sound, the corners of his mouth slightly raised his head, deep black eyes died, gently looking at the two women lying beside him. He took her hand and held it tightly for a few minutes. A rather hoarse voice said softly, "What I fear most is that I don't have you." Cloud Dance smell speech grin, because of awakening and beautiful face more and more dazzling. Is it? Me too. I'm afraid of nothing more than you. Mom, what about me? Hear them two greasy crooked dialogue of little fat girl. Didn't hear mother say oneself, can not quite satisfied with the mouth. This little light bulb is on at the right time. Cloud Dance and Dragon pour evil smell speech. All tacit understanding of C to her. Long Qingxia stretched out his hand and rubbed her little head. You can talk, but I haven't heard you call me yet. The little fat girl was a little kid. She looked at him with her big eyes and asked carefully, "Are you afraid of me?" This sentence let Cloud Dance a burst of laughter and tears. What do you think of this girl? Long Qingxia grinned, obviously very happy about his daughter's problems. Of course you are my daughter. Of course, my father is afraid that something will happen to his daughter. Well, this answer always feels different from Num. But fat chicks don't understand. Hesitated for a while, just reluctantly agreed to nod. All right, Daddy. As a young and glutinous father, Long Qingxia feels that his heart is about to melt. The softness in his eyes, almost even he found. Cloud Dance but all see in the eyes, heart warm, this kind of feeling, good. However, it seems that this is not a warm time for a family, because the little fat girl together into the whole divine world. I'm afraid the Protoss will take her first. Is there any way to send my daughter to a safe place first? Dragon Qing Evil looked to Cloud Dance of ask away. Cloud Dance pondered for a while, then nodded. There is a place, but I don't know if it will affect her. Where? Hearing that, I don't know if it will have an impact. The dragon tilts evil and frowns solemnly. The space of the past. The space of the future is too much, so we can only return to the space of the past. I hope they can solve the problem here as soon as possible, then they can get it back as soon as possible. In that case, there should be no problem, right? However, Long Qingxia was surprised to hear that. The space of the past? At this time, it's not the time to explain in detail, so Yunwu came close to him and gave a brief explanation. Okay, just send her over. After hearing this, Long Qingxia made a decision immediately. Actually, do they have any other choice now? No. If you really take the children with you, I'm afraid the Protoss will have more chips to blackmail them. How can Yunwu not understand his mind? So after he nodded, Yunwu secretly took out the Book of Heaven in his own space. Yes. It's the Book of Heaven on the other side of Jiuyo. The book that sent her to the future. Of course, there is a story about what happened. Now it's not convenient to explain. However, at this time, the Book of Heaven did not appear as a little girl, but directly opened the space of the past with the hand of Cloud Dance. Wait a minute. Just when Cloud Dance plans to send little fat girl in directly, Long Qingxia suddenly thinks of something to interrupt. What's the matter? We have to hurry up. The Book of Heaven belongs to the divine world. I'm afraid it will be discovered by the Protoss. Cloud Dance quickly said. Long Qingxia nodded and looked at his daughter. Daughter, you should remember your future name. Long Qingai, your younger brother's name. Long Qinggu, which means your mother is my lifelong love. Finish saying, also didn't wait for the little fat girl to be able to remember, personally put her into that open heavenly book. The light is blooming. When Yunwu heard his words, his heart jumped. and the softness in his eyes almost turned into water. She didn't give her child a name just to give it to his father. I didn't expect him to be so numb. But she likes it. However, the tenderness did not last long. Because at that moment, a light arrow flying in the air suddenly came towards them. Be careful. Damn it, the two sounds of Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance are not pretending to be in a coma. The two of them reach out to resist the light arrow. In the process of sending to the past space, we must not be disturbed. Otherwise, if there is any mistake, it is really fatal. But soon their faces changed. Because the light arrow actually passed through their spiritual power of resistance, yes. It passed without any obstacles and fell on the light of the heavenly book. At that moment, the light in the book of heaven began to dissipate, as if something had shaken. Nuno. Daughter. Dragon Qing evil with Cloud Dance cry. Accompanied by panic want to quickly pull back his daughter. But it's still a little late. Little fat girl's figure dissipated in the light, and was sent to an unknown place. However, after the light disappeared, the book of heaven fell from the sky and its color became dim. It seems that the book of heaven has also been damaged to some extent. Cloud Dance, even if the inner ups and downs arouse great, but also in the first time to put away the book of heaven, because only the book of heaven can bring her daughter back. At this time too, not Dragon and Phoenix suddenly stopped, for unlike also flying close. The breath of artifact? Damn it, they have artifact. There was a chagrin in the voice of the two beasts. They seemed to blame themselves for finding out now. However, it is not the two beasts that make Yunwu and Longqingxi coldly alert. It's the man standing in a cloud, like a god. He was dressed in strong white clothes, holding a long anger, and there was a pale totem between his eyebrows. He looked down on them as if he had no emotion. It looks like they are a mole ant. If before, Cloud Dance and Dragon may have some emotions. However, in the face of this Protoss, they seem to have a feeling of infinite reverence and worship. This is the so-called Protoss, God, standing on the cloud, holding the long angry sky trace, quietly overlooking the two humans brought up by the beast. He is the guardian god of the Protoss, named Tianqian. He didn't remember how old he was. Anyway, after countless years, he only remembered that he was guarding the Protoss, the guardian of the Protoss gate in the mouth of the gods. So, after they entered the Protoss, he followed them all the way. He saw what they said and did. Originally, he disdained to attack two human beings. After all, the nobility of the God of Heaven. How can we do it for the two lower human beings? Unexpectedly, these two human beings carry Protoss artifacts. So just as they were driving the artifact, he did it. But when he saw them, he realized that these two were the humans who made the old Protoss angry in recent days. It is said that the destruction of the barrier of the Way of Heaven and the Way of Heaven are due to these two human beings. Interesting. After thousands of years of lonely life, I finally have a little fun. So after he shot the first arrow, he didn't shoot. He just stood on the cloud and looked at them carefully. He wanted to see what was special about these two human beings. A man and a woman are young, but they even have children. It depends on the situation, like the relationship between husband and wife in human beings. Just these two human beings. How can those old men be so angry? I don't understand. However, when the two beasts with Cloud Dance and Dragon's evil spirits saw the god above the cloud, they bowed their heads and exchanged a respectful voice. General Tianqian. Well, who are these two? The sky trace that still light and have no emotion of voice asked away. The voice came out as empty as 9 days away. Yunwu and Longqingxi also looked up at the man, quietly and carefully. His light arrow, let them not even resist ability. Such a god is terrible. If all the gods are such forces, can they really resist? After hearing this, Si Xiangxiang and Fei Longfeng all answered in one voice. It's the human that the emperor wants. Emperor? Hearing the answer, Tianqian was not surprised. In other words, he was used to expressionless and calm. It seems that for a long time nothing can arouse his emotion. So after hearing the words, he spoke faintly. These two people are the two who break through the Way of Heaven? Yes, get the answer. The trace also no longer asked what, in the air brushed his hand, indicating that they can go. However, he is still standing on the clouds, with the light wind, not far away from the follow. Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance look at each other. No mouth seems to know each other's mind. At this time, it's definitely not the time to make a move. However, they did not intend to escape halfway. This time they should see the so-called Protoss, right? They want to see what these high Protoss are like. And the answer soon came. Half an hour. All the way continuous beauty, finally half an hour later, gradually replaced by a sea. Yes, there is no wave of the ocean. The vast cannot see to the end, and on that vast sea, floating a very spacious palace. Resplendent floating hanging, rainbow around in the sky, nameless flowers and trees, dotted with the palace. It makes the whole palace look more comfortable. However, the invisible majesty has not been reduced at all. As soon as you enter the sea area, you will feel an inexplicable force of oppression. A kind of oppression that seems to make them feel that they have to give in, which makes them dislike. But no matter how they repel it, it seems that they can't get rid of it. In that momentum, they were taken to the palace. The trace of heaven follows. General Tianchen. Along the way, as long as you meet the Protoss, you will respectfully call to the mark that day. In this way, the dragon and Cloud Dance will examine the Protoss again. It seems that his identity is very important in this Protoss. It's a pity that he didn't say a word all the way, except that he opened his mouth at the beginning. On the contrary, the two beasts were more talkative. After entering the palace, the two beasts turned into human figures. They were both male, and they were tall and handsome. For Cloud Dance and Dragon, they didn't bind them. That is to say, it's a little cold. Come on, no ink. Finally, in that half-urging, the five came to a main hall in the palace. The spacious hall is luxurious and elegant. Smooth marble floor, light surrounded by a layer of white fog, there is a sense of fairyland. However, this is the divine world. It's not surprising to have this kind of affectation. In the empty hall, after 5 people came in, it was so quiet. Until a body appears. Emperor the two beasts immediately knelt down on one knee and called respectfully. And the god of heaven also made a standard ceremony, but did not speak. The visitor, as if accustomed to this, gently brushed his hand and said, "Get up." The two beasts just got up. But then he retreated to the bottom of both sides. And the trace of heaven retreated to one side. The dragon's evil spirit and Cloud Dance are very abrupt here. At this time, Yunwu and Longqingxi can see what people look like. They have fair skin, handsome facial features and are quite tall and strong. Wearing that golden robe, the hair ornament is also luxurious, which is a gem. It looks like it's in its early 30s. Is this the emperor they call him? However, in the divine world, what is the status of Emperor Zun? Even General Tianchen would salute. It seems that his rank is much higher than that of general. You are the witch saint and dark emperor in the world. Low and dignified voice, as if very ordinary general asked. However, an invisible force came to them with the voice. Dragon Qingxia suddenly pulls Yunwu into his back, and quickly arouses a dark force to resist. When he saw the power of exploration under the resistance, he was quietly relieved. Okay. Fortunately, not all the Protoss have the same strength as the mark of that day. They don't even have the ability to resist. You are so brave that you dare to resist even the power of our emperor? The man known as Emperor Zun suddenly had a cold voice, and a strange wave of power suddenly set off on the main hall. The power of the dragon changed the face of the dragon and Cloud. It seems that the Protoss can't be underestimated. Is it too humiliating for the Emperor of the Protoss to take action against the two of us? The sound of dragon's faint evil sounds. He didn't show the fear of submission, but still kept the attitude he just had. Cloud Dance is protected by him behind, there is no difference. How can she wipe his face when the man protects himself so much? At this time, she will see what the Emperor of the Protoss wants to do. In the future, she does not have the so-called Emperor. So she didn't know about it. I knew your eloquence was good at the beginning, but I didn't expect that you were still so eloquent after being born for several generations. Emperor Zun is sitting on the main position of the main hall. He suddenly looks at the dragon and says, "That makes people confused. He means, was he above the Protoss in the last life? Long Qingxia frowned and looked at him. Do you mean that I was originally a Protoss? Emperor Zun didn't seem to be quite satisfied with his understanding. He raised his hand nobly with a smile. He brushed the two beasts and motioned them to withdraw. Seeing this, the two beasts naturally retreated. As for Tianqin, he still keeps his standing posture, and has no intention of quitting. When Emperor Zun saw this, he was just like him. You were originally a Protoss, but you thought you had made some mistakes in those years. Therefore, you were punished by the former emperor and entered into reincarnation. You can return to the Protoss one day, when you have completed your service. Former emperor? From then on, the emperor is the ruler of the Protoss? Long Qingxia hasn't made a response yet. Cloud Dance picks eyebrows instead, walks out slightly from Long Qingxia's side, and looks up at the man above the hall. Seems to notice the line of sight of Cloud Dance. Emperor Zun's dignified and handsome face, slightly raised up. Long time no see, little one. This sentence, however, is like the sound of nails cutting through the glass, which is extremely frightening and makes people get goosebumps in an instant. What do you mean? Long time no see? She met him? No, isn't that a bullshit past life? In this regard, Yunwu's eyebrows wrinkled up. Obviously, he didn't like this very much. Long Qingxia also frowned and looked at the emperor. Little guy is my exclusive name. He doesn't like the way other men call his women. Of course, this is not the time to discuss this issue. However, when the emperor heard the speech, he laughed as if he had heard something interesting. But what's so funny about that? I don't know. Both Yunwu and Long Qingxi feel speechless. Well, I won't tease you anymore. I'll explain the identities of the two of you clearly, but before that, I want to ask you a question. This time, the emperor did not call himself the emperor. It seems that they are trying to get closer to each other. What's the problem? Do you know what will happen when you open the seal of the demon clan? This problem may be unknown to Long Qingxia, but Cloud Dance is very clear. Therefore, Yunwu did not stand behind the dragon, but walked out and even approached the emperor. Lift eyes, clear phoenix eyes on the emperor. Although she wanted to bend her knees to the emperor, she still stood upright. Does your problem have anything to do with us? Of course it does. If you don't know, I can deal with it lightly. But if you know, it's another matter. When Emperor Zun said this, he chuckled. But a few people on the scene can feel that his smile is just a fake smile. An emperor's expression is enough to show his attitude. Cloud Dance see this, also hook lips a smile, also smile not to reach the fundus of the eye. Is it? That's a pity. We don't know the consequences, however, we will not regret, even know the consequences, we'll still choose to break the seal. You can represent both of you? Emperor Zun's eyes narrowed slightly. Of course, he said, good. It seems that even if you two reincarnate for many generations, you still can't change your rebellious and stubborn. It seems that this time, I will be wrong again. The emperor suddenly sighed. I don't know why, I always feel that after his words are finished, he seems to be several years old in an instant. What happens to the Protoss? It's strange. Emperor, you haven't said their identities yet. At this time, did not expect to open the mouth is that day mark. The theater-goer is more anxious than the protagonist. Of course, he was born with the same facial paralysis and ruthlessness, and there was no emotion in his handsome face. When Emperor Zun heard the words, it was just like noticing the existence of the mark that day. A touch of helpless dyed his eyes, inexplicably shaking his head. He then got up from the position, turned away. You're leaving? Why did he go away like this before chatting? Don't deal with them? Emperor, you haven't said what to do with us yet. Cloud Dance opened her mouth and called. Look, since ancient times, I'm afraid she is the only one who asks people to deal with herself. Emperor Zun stopped, but did not look back. I can't bear to deal with you, but someone will come. Then he left. To tell you the truth, his behavior is a little puzzling. Isn't he Emperor Zun? Isn't it the leader of this Protoss? But when Yunwu saw some old men, accompanied by a man in a golden dragon robe, he came in. Yunwu realized that the leader of the Protoss was someone else. when I hear Tianqin call Tianzuan. Yunwu and Longqing realized that the ruler of the Protoss was the god. Tianzuan's appearance is very similar to that of the emperor just now. He is handsome and upright, but a little more solemn than the emperor. It gives people a serious sense of dignity. As for those old men, they are kind-hearted, as if they were all good people. However, I don't know why, when Yunwu saw those old men, he felt a repulsion of listening to them. She didn't know why, but it was an instinctive reaction. It's okay for Longqingxia. The evil and evil eyes, after looking at several people that day, stepped forward and came to Yunwu. Reach out, quietly pull her in his side. Are you the witch saint and the dark emperor? Majestic voice, no words and laughter. Several old men stood on both sides of Tianzuan, watching them with a serious look. Longqingxia said, yes, we are. I don't know what's the matter with heaven asking people to bring us to the Protoss. Tianzuan narrowed his eyes and looked at the dragon for a long time. Then he said, you two are so bold. You dare to break through the seal of the demon family. But you dare to break through the gate of heaven. Dragon Qingxia slightly brings Cloud Dance behind him, and looks at the celestial being with a smile. I don't know what the celestial being is going to do with us. Well, what about you two? Do you think I really dare not deal with you if Emperor Zun intercedes for you? God's plea? No, Tianzuan just left. Of course at this time, Yunwu and Longqingxi naturally won't pick them out, but wait for the words behind the god. You broke the seal of the demon clan, so I want you to seal it again in the shortest time. Seal the demons again? It's a joke. Don't talk about the evil of dragon. Even Cloud Dance can't help but want to sneer. It is said that the seal of the demons used the hand of the Protoss last time. Now they're going to seal it again? Tianzuan, don't you embarrass us? I know that with our strength, how can we seal the demons? What's more, are you sure that sealing the demons is still useful? The voice of Cloud Dance very light, but very sharp. The seal of the devouring Protoss has been loosened with the seal of the demons. I believe that before long, the devouring Protoss will climb out of the earth. Now to seal the demons, is it really useful? Of course not. And he that words, don't be equal to let the demon clan resist the behavior of eating the Protoss first. To be honest, Yunwu despises such a Protoss. However, Hua Ziyao's words made Tianzuan and the old men look bad. Naturally, they heard something different. It seems that you are a little girl. You know that you will break the seal of the demon clan. How bold you are. It was an old man around Tianzuan who said that he was angry. However, the old man looked at her with sharp eyes, as if he was angry. It's like she's just met him for the first time, isn't it? What can I say to this girl? She is. Another old man was angry, but before he finished, he was stopped by Tianzuan. With a little girl, there's nothing to be angry about. Heaven's dignified opening. But the meaning of his words was to stop the old man's follow-up. Cloud Dance's eyebrow can't help wrinkling. Eyes quietly swept in the old man who just opened his mouth. And the old man seemed to notice the sight of Cloud Dance. However, this time, even though he seemed angry, he didn't say anything. He just glanced at her with a strange look. At this moment, Yunwu felt that the old man must know something about her. In other words, it's something from a previous life. Although I don't know what her past life with Dragon is. However, we can be sure that it must have something to do with this Protoss. To tell you the truth, she would rather not have anything to do with the Protoss, otherwise, she always feels very troublesome of course. This matter is beyond her control. Girl, I'll ask you again, do you want to make up for the trouble you've caused? Tianzuan stares at Yunwu and asks. And after that, the vision obviously turned to Longqingxia. It seems that he has a very special mood for Dragon, but it is well concealed. Almost imperceptible. However, Yunwu still noticed. Eyes slightly narrowed, there is a deep undercurrent. Tianzuan, before answering your question, can I ask you a question? This words let the Sky Zun finally put the vision on her body. Ask, can you tell me about your relationship with my man? This problem can make all the people present in a flash, including the dragon. Tianzuan was also quite stunned. However, he still had the ability to respond to the fact that he was the leader of the Protoss. To restore the majesty of heaven, he just took a deep look at the cloud dance, and then spoke in a low voice. This answer, you will understand later, now is not the time. In the future? Cloud Dance is not very satisfied with this pick-eyebrow way. In this case then as well, you say my identity? I have several identities from previous lives. As soon as you look at the old men beside him, you can tell. You can take some old men. And a few old men all know that this god is not to mention. You want to know? But even if you know, what can you do? Tianzuan looked at Yunwu's sight and asked, Tianzuan, what do you say to this little girl? Anyway, she's the one who caused this disaster. I'll definitely ask her to clean it up. Otherwise, it won't come to such a good end. That is such a stubborn girl, it's useless to say so much. It is. Several old men immediately opened their mouths, and they were obviously dissatisfied with the cloud dance. Now Cloud Dance is more curious. What is the past life? In the future she saw, she didn't see that layer. Girl, do you know that you can clean up your mess? But Tianzuan looked at Yunwu and asked him. Cloud Dance frowns, does not agree, also does not nod. This attitude obviously made those old men have a good time to talk in dissatisfaction. At this time, on the contrary, Tianqin said, Tianzuan, why don't you say it to the end? From the emperor to the emperor, why hasn't the answer been given? It's very urgent. In these countless years, it is rare to have an interesting situation. Tianqin, if you don't guard Tianmen, what are you still doing here? Go back. When Tianzuan saw Tianqin, he brushed his hand helplessly. Tianqin finally frowned. Can I listen to the answer in your mouth and leave first? This made Yunwu almost laugh. It turned out that this facial paralysis of the expressionless man, quite a lovely side. Dragon Qing Evil see this, but dissatisfaction frown. I scrape Cloud Dance one eye. Want to see a man see me? This even this vinegar also eat? However, Cloud Dance is also very enjoyable. Well, Tianzuan, just tell me. As for how to clean up the mess, let's see if I can do that at that time. This is not the same as did not say it. Tianzuan was obviously not satisfied with her answer. Several old men were dissatisfied and said, You girl, don't be so ungrateful. No matter how stubborn you are, you will have a taste of Tianlei. Well, it's said that a villain is a villain. She is the only one who can say that she is so ungrateful. It is. These dead old men are a real nuisance. Cloud Dance do not know why. Hear those words. The bottom of my heart obviously rose that familiar and strange repulsion. Yes, some things, no matter how many times of reincarnation, that kind of deep-rooted things, still will not change. It's like, to these old men. The first time we met, we were disgusted and repulsed. So after hearing those old men's words, Yunwu frowned deeply and looked at the god. Tianlei? It seems that the reason why Tianzuan didn't dare to tell me the truth is that I received Tianlei from your Protoss in my previous life? That's right. How can I be controlled by you again when I know the truth? Do you know how to motivate? Obviously, Tianzuan's face was a little chilly. Seeing this, Tianqin realized that Tianzuan was angry, and Junyi's face wrinkled slightly. He stepped forward and said, Tianzuan, it's better to imprison these two people so that they can repair the gate of the way of heaven first. Hearing this, Tianzuan's face narrowed a little. Seeing this, Tianqin continued. The door of the way of heaven is broken, and the demons invade the fairyland. I believe that before long, the demons will invade the Protoss. Even if the water of the Tianhe River is temporarily blocked, if it goes on like this, I'm afraid the three realms will be destroyed. At last, the emperor's anger was restrained. Indeed, in addition to facing the devouring Protoss that is about to break through the earth, we should also consider the broken gate of the way of heaven. The opening of the gate of heaven means that there will be no obstacles to all walks of life. Protoss is a sacred realm. How can we allow any stain to be stained? It seems that the most urgent task is to restore the gate of heaven first. However, Tianzuan's vision could not help falling on Yunwu and Longqing again. These two problems must be solved quickly. No matter whether you can become a chess piece again or not, You should seize the time. Once you bite the Protoss out of the ground, you still need to use some strength to resist. Girl, I'll ask you one last question. Are you willing to clean up your mess? Heaven's Majestic suddenly looked at Cloud Dance and asked. Yunwu frowned. Her mess? This sentence, how to feel so funny. When did she become such a small person in this mess? However, I can hear the meaning of the words of the god. He wants her to solve it. Haha. Does the emperor live too long and become a fool? Or does he really think she doesn't have any chessmen? Or can he need flat and round at will? Tianzuan, as the master of the Protoss, don't you think it's ridiculous for you to let me, such a small man of the human race, clean up the mess left by your Protoss? Well, this sentence changed the face of Tianzuan and those old men. Yes, no one will look good when he hears this. How dare you speak to heaven like this? Finally, an old man could not help but roar. With a strong breath, he suddenly attacked the Cloud Dance. The Cloud Dances, the eyes squint. But without waiting for her action, Long Qingxia had action first. The dark spiritual power, the moment of agglutination, directly resisted the strong breath. That's how Protoss treat their guests? Dragon Qing Evil Hook Lips Evil Spirit said with a smile, the coldness between eyebrows but gradually congealed. The old man didn't expect that Long Qingxia would stop him. His cold face flashed a little strange and said, Dragon boy, you don't seem to be a person who doesn't understand the truth. Are you the same as this girl, and you want to see the 3 worlds and 6 roads destroyed? What a big hat. Long Qingxia chuckled and said, Don't label me. After all, what does the 3 realms and 6 ways have to do with me? In a word, the old man was so angry that he had a beard. You. Pointing at Long Qingxia's finger, he trembled with anger. Well, they are so stubborn. They should be locked up until the problem of the way of heaven is solved. Tianzuan brushed his hand in anger. All of a sudden, many bodyguards appeared in the void. Take it down. With a word from the god, several bodyguards want to go forward to catch the Cloud Dance and the dragon. Lead the way, we'll follow. Long Qingxia whisks away those bodyguards who want to touch the Cloud Dance, cold voice way. The bodyguard took a look at Tianzuan. He didn't start until Tianzuan acquiesced. In that way, Yunwu and Longqingxi left with the guards. In other words, he was put in prison. When Tianchen saw this, he said respectfully to Tianzuan, Tianzuan, his subordinates have gone down to guard Tianmen. Well, go. Tianzuan had no choice but to brush his hand. In the twinkling of an eye, on the whole hall, only the emperor and some old men were left. Tianzuan, what should we do about this? It seems that the girl is not easy to control, and the boy is also bad. Yes, if both of them are out of control, it's a future trouble to keep them. The words of the 2 old men chilled the dignity of the emperor. What do you suggest? Instead, send them into the reincarnation pool and wash away their memories. One of the old men suggested. But this proposal, another old man did not agree. If we wash away their memory, I'm afraid even their power will disappear. Now we have no time to wait for them to grow up. Yes, it's too risky. It's estimated that the devouring Protoss will break the ground in these days. Without their power, it's too difficult to seal the devouring Protoss again. But as you have just seen, those 2 people have no attitude. Even if they don't wash away their memory, they won't be willing to do it. Otherwise, take out the girl's mother, and she will be willing even if she doesn't want to. But some mothers were sent to the reincarnation pool by you? Are you sure you can call it back? I'll try. Okay, then you should hurry. Time doesn't wait. Tianzuan listened to the conversation of several old men, but his face was not very good all the time. Look, Tianzuan, what's the suggestion we just said? Several old men looked at the emperor and asked. Tianzuan pondered for a while and nodded. Well, I can't help it. I can only go to that step. Let's do it now. Go with the permission of the god. Several old men did not delay any more and took action immediately. The god left behind stood on the main hall like that. For a while. He just light-mouthed. Listen to enough come out. These words, after ringing in the silent hall, there was a white light flashing. Do you really want to do that? Emperor Zun walked slowly out of the white light towards his brother with a similar outline. Tianzuan looked at his brother, and there was a soften in his dignified brow. What else can you do? Emperor Zun sighed. You said. In fact, we may have done too much at the beginning. If we could open up one side at the beginning, we would not be like this in the future. But Tianzuan frowned and said in a deep voice, if you say that, you are admitting that we did something wrong. Don't forget that we are the masters of the Protoss. Brother, haven't you understood for thousands of years? Even if God makes mistakes, can't you step back for the sake of the common people? Step back. Tianzuan's face sank and he stood still and gloomy. Do you know what it means to step back? The Lord of the Protoss can't be wrong. Even if there is a mistake, it's also the mistake of their evil. Hearing this, Emperor Zun sighed helplessly. Brother, you say they are stubborn. In fact, you are the most stubborn person. What do you mean, Emperor? Heaven's eyes are cold. Seeing this, the Emperor shook his head helplessly. Forget it. I hope you won't regret it one day, brother. At the end of the speech, Emperor Zun turned and left. As for Tianzuan's mood, he had no strength to pay attention. For thousands of years, he has seen their reincarnation. In every life, they will meet and fall in love, but in every life, they can only fall in love and cannot stay together. This is the punishment of their Protoss. However, gradually he had some doubts about his original decision. Did they really do it right? Is the Protoss really such a noble and infallible race above the three realms? But it is clear that the answer has become clearer and clearer recently. The seal of the demons is broken. The devouring Protoss is about to break out. And the way of heaven of the Protoss is broken. Maybe it's time to respond to the original answer. Protoss Dungeon. Yunwu and Longqingxi, who are brought into the dungeon, still have the mood to talk and laugh after seeing the environment in the dungeon. The environment of the Protoss dungeon is pretty good. Yes, it's better than the best room in the world. Dragon Qingxia and Cloud Dance's evaluation of Tianlao makes the Protoss bodyguards who send them to Tianlao dumbfounded. Is there something wrong with these two people? They are all imprisoned in the heaven prison. How can they sound like they are on holiday? Separate men from women. But just as they were about to walk into a cell, there was an old man's voice. Cloud Dance turns its head. When I saw that one of the old men just above the hall was following me, his brow was obviously locked. The deep boredom is obvious. Old man, I remember your God didn't say that men and women should be separated. I said it. The old man was serious. That look let Cloud Dance want to go forward very much. Toward that white beard ruthlessly pull, his beard to pull off impulse. It's so annoying. But why do they hate him so much? Cloud Dance is rooted in his ugliness. If the old man knew what Yunwu was thinking at this time, he would be so angry that his beard would curl up. What are you doing? Separate them. Seeing that the guard didn't move, the old man yelled. Old man, did I dig your ancestral grave in my previous life? Yes, Yunwu said this to him. This sentence can make Long Qingxia laugh. Little thing, don't speak so sharp, it will make the old man angry. But the bodyguards around were shocked. This human world woman is too bold, isn't she? The elder of the Protoss. How dare she challenge so wantonly? Don't die. The old man's face sank in an instant, and he was still angry. Your mouth is quite sharp, so seal your mouth. As soon as the cold voice fell, a sharp force suddenly attacked the Cloud Dance. It's very fast. Even Long Qingxia didn't respond in time and suddenly called out, be careful. Fortunately, Yunwu was on guard, so he dodged the danger, but his heart was inexplicable. Old man, if you can't talk about me, you'll get angry? Mean. Well, it's a waste of my saliva to talk to you, bastard. If not, well, evil is evil. Cloud Dance smells speech. Really, someone's angry smile. She heard the old man mention the word evil many times. The dead old man was about to say something, but he got stuck again. However, from his frequent hearing of the appellation of evil, it can only show that her previous life status is not very good in front of these Protoss. And she must hate these old men. Otherwise, she could not explain why she would be disgusted to see these old men. The devil is better than you, old man. Didn't the emperor ask us for help? If you dare to make me happy, I'll burn all the stones to see if you call me a villain. Threat who won't. Anyway, if you don't like him, you'd better piss him off. Not to mention, the words of Cloud Dance really seemed to have some effect. The old man, who was originally full of horizontal faces, obviously bowed a lot. Right. Even if she can't defeat these Protoss, she won't let herself be wronged. Long Qingxia looked at it, and began to smile. His family woman really can't get rid of this strong don't lose bad habits. But he likes it. Don't you want to separate us now, old man? I can tell you that I'm not in a good mood, and my men are not in a good mood after this separation. If Tianzuan comes to ask me again if I want to clean up the mess of your Protoss, I won't be able to talk. Han's chest, cool looking at the ugly old man, said. As for whether the old man will be angry to cerebral hemorrhage, not in her consideration. When the old man heard that, he felt so angry that his brain was congested. How can this dead girl be so annoying in her past and present life? However, he also had to take into account what she said just now. He came up with the idea that he just wanted to block the girl, but he was blocked. But even if he wanted to get rid of her, he couldn't do it. After all, the Protoss need them. I'm not reconciled. Just then, there was a respectful call from the guard at the door. General Tianheng. What happened to Tianchen? Hearing this, the old man turned his head with a frown and looked at the track of the sky coming towards him. Didn't General Tianchen say to go to the gate of heaven? How did you get to this dungeon? Tianchen nodded politely to the old man. Yuelao Dizuan is looking for you. Does Emperor Zun want him? How can it be that Emperor Zun has never liked to call the demons since he sealed them? Old man smell speech, doubted a frown, don't understand. Yuelao. Yunwu used to hold her chest while watching the play, but when she heard Tianchen's address to the old man, she almost choked by her own saliva. Yuelao. My mother, don't tell her. This dead old man is the moon old man who leads the red line to his lover in the myth of the earth people. If it's the same person, it's really thunder to death. Look at the old man's virtue. How could it be consistent with the kind-hearted moon old man in the myth? It's definitely not the same person. This different world, originally different from the earth, has a space which may just be called. But when the old man heard the murmur of Cloud Dance, he turned his head and looked at her with dignity and anger. Dead girl, if you don't clean up the mess this time, I will match you with a pig after you are reincarnated. With that, the old man brushed his hand and left in a huff. Cloud Dance is a little bit scorched by thunder. Don't tell me, this old man is in charge of marriage. Hearing the words, Tianchen nodded without expression and looked at her seriously. Yuelao is in charge of human marriage in the Protoss. You and he will pair up, which is from his hands. All right. Allowed her to make complaints about the 108,000 grass mud horses that were passing by. What is this called? If the dead old man is really old, it will really destroy the image of the people on Earth. Wait. That doesn't seem to be the point. After digesting for a while, Yunwu's face suddenly sank and squinted at the sky mark. Do you mean that he controls the fate of my marriage with my man? 2 marriages, no. Every time we get together, we always have an accident on the way, and then we are forced to separate. The most important thing is that in the future, they will end up with a miserable ending. When he saw the general nodding, Yunwu's first reaction was to rush towards the direction where the old man had just left. Dead old man, you come back to me. If she doesn't pull out his beard, she won't be Yun. Damn asshole. But in the end, she didn't call back the old man and didn't rush out of the prison. After all, the guards in prison were not idle. And Cloud Dance, it's not time to start. Therefore, when Long Qingxia grabbed her waist and stopped her, she just yelled at the dead old man. What's the matter? Do you know the old man? Seeing Cloud Dance's reaction, Long Qingxia couldn't help but ask in a low voice. Take a deep breath. Cloud Dance converged the anger in his heart and said to him, it's the dead old man who is manipulating our marriage. This words, Long Qing Evil just pick eyebrow, but don't have much reaction. After all, in his opinion, he was very grateful to the old man, because at least he tied him to her. If he could meet this little thing, it would be enough for him to give the old man a good face. But Cloud danced behind a word, but let him face a heavy. Do you know that our marriage can only meet but not stay together? In the future, when the catastrophe was prevented, the husband died and the son scattered. Speaking of the last sentence, Yunwu is almost gnashing her teeth. Long Qingxia's face was very gloomy. At this time, he understood why the cloud ball was so emotional when he saw the old man. Damn it! The Protoss used them as chess pieces, but gave them such an end. Can really be a bridge, ah. And Cloud Dance just said it was in the process of preventing that catastrophe? The great disaster, the demons? Or the Protoss? Long Qingxia asked gravely. The Cloud danced to sweep the ice-sky trace, pondered for a while, for also not to avoid. Walking into the cell and sitting on the stone bed, he spoke indifferently. The killing war of the demons, the biting Protoss, the Terrans and the three races. What about the Protoss? Long Qingxia frowned and asked the key point. Cloud Dance thought of what? Can't help but sneer when the hook lip. Immediately, then the sarcastic eye falls on the body of that day trace. Even swept the bodyguard that pretends to have no facial expression around. Nature shrinks behind. It's a turtle. That words, obviously cause all-around dissatisfaction, cold and fierce eyes. On the contrary, Tianqin's paralyzed face was a little strange, but not dissatisfied, but confused. The Protoss is the god who dominates the three realms. Why don't you do it? Do you believe what I say about the future? Smell speech. Cloud Dance does not answer rhetorical questions. The Sky Trace face has no facial expression of looked at her one eye, finally saw a dragon to incline evil one eye again, finally, continue the mouth of facial paralysis. I don't believe it, because if I do, I will do it. This is an interesting answer. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow to see to him. Once again serious a few minutes look at him. Your name is General Tianqin. I think Tianzuan and Dizuan have a special attitude towards you. Are you really just a general? Tianqin nodded. Guard the gate of heaven that you broke. This is a bit embarrassing. Fortunately, this thick skin has always been the expertise of Cloud Dance and Dragon Qingxia. Ignoring the embarrassment. Then I'm sorry for breaking your job. You haven't answered. Why didn't the Protoss fight in the war you said? This answer, Dragon Qingxia also some want to know. Even the bodyguards who were spying around were full of doubts. Cloud Dance didn't answer immediately, but quietly watched that day mark for a while, just hook lip light smile way. Because of biting Protoss. Eating Protoss. Is that the only reason? How can it be? Is the Protoss above scared by a so-called devouring Protoss? This answer is obviously unacceptable. Seeing the appearance of Tianqin frowning and disbelieving, he and the guards around, who also didn't believe in his face, danced in the clouds and sneered. It seems that your god and emperor did not tell you that this devouring Protoss is the alien race that specially restrains and devours your Protoss. Yes, if you want to take charge of the whole Protoss safely, some things are not easy to publicize. Devouring Protoss is an example. See only, Cloud Dance that words fall. All around bodyguard obvious mood became some ups and downs. And the day mark, also brow deep lock up. After that, the trace of heaven was gone. As for the guards of the heavenly prison, it is still impossible to say anything. Suddenly, there was silence in the dungeon. Long Qingxia held her in his arms, gently touched her nose, spoiled her and said in a low voice, You dare to say that you are not afraid of Emperor Zun's trouble that day. What are you afraid of? Aren't you still here? Back to embrace him, comfortable nest into his strong arms. I haven't felt this feeling for a long time. But in fact, she was eager to get the story around. Protoss, an absolutely arrogant race. As long as the Protoss can have some civil strife, that's their chance. Long Qingxia looked at the woman in his arms, and his eyes were full of doting and pity. Two people hand in hand pass so long, how can he not know her careful thought? It's just, is the Protoss so easy to cause chaos? This is really unpredictable. However, as long as he is still alive, she will not be hurt at all. Later, stay by my side, do you hear me? Well, I'm sure I'll stay by your side. Nothing can be separated from us. The next day, a rumor spread quickly in the Protoss. And the message of that message contains the devouring Protoss. The Protoss, which was originally quiet and dignified, seems to have a little disturbance, especially in the next few days. Gradually, news came from the outside world that the gate of heaven could not be repaired, and the flood from heaven had begun to submerge the three realms, and people began to complain. Terran began to dissatisfy with the gathering of people. The demons also gradually want to break through the flood and invade the Protoss. The devouring Protoss under the earth also have a big movement about to break the ground. A series of turbulence are reminding the Protoss human catastrophe is about to begin. Above the hall, just like the Emperor in the world. At this time in the hall, there are many Protoss dressed in officials, and the god is sitting on top of you. When Tianzuan heard that series of reports, his face was ugly. Son of a bitch, who on earth dares to gather people to rebel against God? A roar, accompanied by a strong sense of anger. Tianzuan, don't be angry. The strength of the human race is weak, but it's not afraid. However, if the water of the Tianhe River descends to the lower boundary, it may really submerge the three boundaries. A man in civil service uniform said respectfully. Yes, Tianzuan, if we don't find a way to repair the gate of the way of heaven as soon as possible, we are afraid that the three realms will be destroyed in the hands of our Protoss. Tianzuan, the Terran is created by the Protoss. If it's destroyed in this way, it's not worth the loss. Tianzuan, please find a way as soon as possible. In the words of the Protoss, there is obviously some uncertainty. That's right. After thousands of years of peace, I didn't expect that once an accident happened, it would lead to the havoc of 3 circles and 6 roads. It's too serious. In particular, I heard that biting the Protoss was the natural enemy of the Protoss. How can this not let the Protoss people start to be a little uneasy? Tianzuan was already in a state of anxiety. When he heard the chatter in the hall, he was even more angry. However, the main hall is not a place to get angry. This time in the early days, there was still no effective way. In the end, Tianzuan could only brush his hand and let people leave. I just left. Then the bodyguard came to report. Tianzuan, Emperor Zun sent a message that he wanted you to go to Tianjing Pavilion. Tianjing Pavilion? Isn't that the place to watch the reincarnation of the human soul? Tianzuan frowned. Some did not understand what his brother wanted to do. Well, step back. Yes, after the bodyguard retreated, Tianzuan got up and went to the mirror pavilion that day. However, as soon as I walked out of the hall, I saw Yuelao coming in a hurry. Heaven, it's not good. What's the matter? What is it like to be so impatient? Tianzuan frowned and scolded angrily. Yuelao can only stabilize the mood, but the delicious kiss is still a little urgent. That seal, the last seal of the Protoss, was just broken. What Tianzuan's face was so ugly that he could not keep his dignity. According to the strength of the seal, it can last for several days at least. How could it be broken at this time? If the last seal is forced, the devouring Protoss will break out of the earth. Damn it. Originally everything was in control, but now it's all in chaos. Who's in the way? Seeing that Tianzuan was so angry and the breath around him was so terrible, Yuelao's face turned pale. Yes, the demons. The demons. Hearing the words, the Emperor's eyes were frightfully cold. The word goes on, stop the water of the Tianhe River, mobilize 100,000 troops to guard the gate of the way of heaven. Once the demons invade, they will be killed. Good. It was a deal with the demon. Now that the demon clan is so ignorant, don't blame him for not being merciful. After hearing this, Yuelao immediately understood Tianzuan's plan. Eyes bright quickly nodded. Okay, I'll do it now. By the way, Tianzuan, what should we do if the two evils refuse to cooperate? It's still useful. Don't move for a while. On hearing this, the old man nodded. Yes. Come on, let's go down and give orders. Under Tianzuan's hands, Yuelao left in a hurry. Soon after, the whole Protoss began to stir up a stir. Tianjing Pavilion. Why are you here now? Looking at the Tianzuan who came in, Emperor Zun asked with a slight frown. Tianzuan said in a deep voice, Just heard the news, the final seal of Seal Bite Protoss has been broken. When Emperor Zun heard the speech, he was not surprised, though he was a little stunned. It's just a matter of time. Hearing his gentle tone, Tianzuan was a little annoyed. Emperor Zun, what's the matter with you for thousands of years? The seal of devouring Protoss has been broken. You know what it means. How can you say that in such a tone? Emperor Zun raised his mouth a little funny. Or what tone shall I use? I knew thousands of years ago that there would be such a consequence, but now it has finally arrived. Do I have to say it in a very surprised tone? Seeing that Tianzuan didn't accept it, Emperor Zun sighed. Brother, when are you going to wake up? We shouldn't have done that in the beginning. We were all wrong. Shut up. If you call me here just to tell me that, there's no need. With that, Tianzuan wanted to walk away. The emperor stopped him. I know you are stubborn. You won't listen to me, and I won't tell you any more. However, I asked you to come to Tianjing Pavilion to show you this. At the end of the speech, a light blue spiritual power disperses from his brushing hand only to see that the originally ordinary attic is suddenly transformed into a channel of countless mirrors. Tianzuan glanced and frowned. Nothing special. What's good to see? Take a closer look. After hearing the words, Tianzuan slowly stepped forward, and his eyes fell on those mirror channels interspersed with countless pictures. But soon, his pupils shrank and a surge of shock and disbelief rose in his eyes. What's the matter? How can Samsara and Kunlun mirror split? What's going on? Since the creation of human beings by the Protoss, the Samsara and Kunlun mirror, which can see the past and present, have naturally formed. This is born in response to heaven and earth. But now the Samsara road and Kunlun mirror are split. What does it mean? Will the Terran be destroyed? Or is there another moral? Whatever it is, it's not what he wants to see. Tianzuan looked at Dizuan, and for the first time he had a trace of fear. What's the matter? Don't say nothing. You've been here for almost half of the 1,000 years. You must know something. Brother, don't you understand what I just said? Emperor Zun frowned at him. It can be seen that Tianzuan didn't realize it. At last, Dizuan was disappointed. It seems that I can only go by myself. What? Tianzuan didn't react at all. So he saw the figure of Emperor Zun jump down the path of reincarnation with the biggest crack. Brother, God will also make mistakes. Don't be stubborn anymore. I hope that my sacrifice can buy you some time. And it can be regarded as a little forgiveness for the mistakes I made at the beginning. When the last word falls, a dazzling light suddenly erupts from Tianjing Pavilion. At that moment, the whole Protoss seemed to be bathed in the light. But the gods changed their faces. The light of the origin of Emperor Zun? Has the emperor passed away? What's the matter? What happened? The emperor, who was watching the emperor sacrifice, was shocked. Cannot give him the opportunity to react. Left him only the last voice. No. Tens of thousands of years, blood. Although they have been more and more dissatisfied with him for thousands of years, they are still brothers. How could that be? What the hell happened? Tianzuan's face is pale and colorless. Inside the Protoss dungeon. In the past few days, the couple of Yunwu and Longqingxi and Tianlao have had a good life. The meal is delivered and the bed is paved. The only bad thing is that there are too many light bulbs around here, and there is less privacy. However, this cheeky husband and wife, but still under the countless light bulbs, love each other. Every now and then, the scene of intimacy will make God feel ashamed of it. Of course, the scale is certain. But today, the couple is still tired of leaning on the bed, enjoying the lunch they just brought, but they are suddenly disturbed by the outside. What's the matter? Cloud Dance frowns to ask. Long Qingxia looked out at the small window of the cell, then shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't know, but I feel that there is a force outside. I am very familiar with it. It seems that it is the emperor we met that day. Emperor. Cloud Dance smells speech. Eyebrows slightly wrinkled for a while, thinking about the future memory that oneself saw at the beginning. Looking for a change, but did not find the emperor. If I can't figure it out, I won't. Anyway, I believe the Protoss will send someone to come again soon. Once the seal of biting Protoss is broken, it represents the real beginning of the catastrophe. And the only thing that can stop the seal of the devouring Protoss from being sealed again is the power of their integration. Why? In fact, she hasn't figured it out yet. In terms of strength, although she awakened the blood of the witches and inherited the power of the witches, she still can't be compared with the Protoss. After all, the sorcerer is just a piece created by the Protoss. Long Qingxia is now forced to awaken the power of the Dark Emperor. Even though he can use the power of the dark, his strength is still comparable to that of Fairyland. It can't be compared with the Protoss. The ultimate strength of these two people is not comparable to that of a Protoss. But the Protoss tried so hard to control them. Why? Just because they are chessmen, do you want to make the best use of them? It can't be that simple. I always feel that there must be something in it, and it is very likely that it has something to do with their previous lives. It's just that these Protoss are very tight-lipped. There's nothing to ask. What are you thinking? See Cloud Dance suddenly silent go down, seemed to be thinking deeply what of appearance. Long Qing evil scraped next her nose tip of ask away. Yunwu raised his head and looked at him seriously. Do you think we were all Protoss in our previous lives? Or someone who has offended the Protoss? Why do you think so? Long Qingxia picks eyebrows. I don't know why. When I saw some old men around the Tianzuan, I had a very repulsive sense of familiarity. I thought that feeling must have been brought about by my previous life, which means that I must have something to do with the Protoss in the previous life. As for you, don't you think that no matter the Emperor or the Emperor, even the old men have different attitudes towards you? Long Qingxia pondered for a while, and nodded her little head with a smile. It's really idle. You've come to think about it. No matter what the previous life was, it's none of our business now. Smell speech, Cloud Dance also smiled to nod. Also right. But at this time, there were some hasty footsteps from the prison, and then I vaguely heard what someone was saying outside. The final seal was broken. Listen, it's not small. The last seal of biting Protoss was broken ahead of time. Cloud Dance, which was originally nestled in the arms of Dragon Qingxia, suddenly sat up straight, with willow eyebrows frowning. Just now, I was not nervous about anything. How did I change my mood? What's the matter? Long Qingxia knew her. She would have this kind of mood change. There must be a reason. According to the time, it should be several days before it can be broken, but now the seal has been broken ahead of time. On the other side of Shangjia and Renjia, Nanganji must not be ready. Yes. She has been so calm since she was brought into the Protoss. It's not that she doesn't care about her grandfather and others. It's because she knows that Nangong Yi will return to the upper world before the catastrophe and reorganize the power of the human race. The place where the biting Protoss came out of the earth is in the Fairyland. There are demons and Fairyland people standing on top of each other, so for a while the Terran will not be affected much. But the premise is that before the Holocaust, the power of the human race is agglutinated together. The seal of the Protoss can be broken ahead of time, which means that the Terran side must not be ready. In this case, they will be caught unprepared by Nangong Yi. The risk factor is countless times larger than predicted. What's more, her son is still in the human world thinking of this. Yunwu felt a little anxious. Don't worry, we have to believe that Nangongji will find a way. No, you haven't seen it with your own eyes. Once the devouring Protoss breaks the ground, they will soon occupy the Fairyland, and then the upper realm. If Nangong Yi is not ready, the consequences will be. Speaking of the latter, I can hardly go on. As soon as Yunwu thought of the killing war she would see in the future, her face turned pale. Don't worry. Long Qingxia tried to pacify her, but he was just as upset. As Yunwu said, he roughly guessed what he meant. Damn it. They can't wait for the Protoss to come any longer. It's not good that their fate is controlled by others, even if the man is a god. The changes in the divine world make the Protoss uneasy, especially after hearing the news. The Emperor lost his respect, which added a touch of confusion to the gods. But the Protoss is the Protoss after all. Even if they are uneasy and flustered, The so-called noble divine power is still maintained in the Protoss. However, just at this time of turbulence, Tianzuan suddenly heard that it was closed. The Lord of the Protoss chose to shut down at this time? What the hell happened? For a while, there were different opinions. And now the fairyland. Most of the land was flooded by the flood, causing serious casualties. But the casualties are all human. The people of fairyland want to stop something, but they can't do anything. The demons are not afraid of water, and even on the contrary, they look at the power of God's wrath like a play. When Tianshui finally stopped, the demons began to go to the door of the way of the Protoss. At the same time, the last seal under the earth disappeared, the earth began to crack, and the soaking water began to flow into the crack quickly. In this way, the speed of the earth splitting is accelerated. Everything seems to be pushed forward by something, and is speeding up. Finally, at the moment when the biting Protoss under the earth gets up, the demons also begin to invade the gate of the way of heaven of the Protoss. The sound of killing started at the same time. Protoss. At the gate of the way of heaven, 100,000 heavenly soldiers almost surround the gate of the way of heaven. As soon as the demons step into the gate of heaven, the killing has already started. The holy land of the Protoss, the demons dare to step on it. There is no amnesty for killing. Kill the roar of heavenly soldiers almost spread all over the world. The magic company leads the demons. As soon as they enter the gate of heaven, they are caught off guard by the heavenly soldiers. However, Ben was psychologically prepared and reacted quickly. The blood of killing, the blood of contagion. The magic company stands in the position of the leader of the demon clan, looking at the leader of the heavenly soldiers coldly. When hearing the high-sounding words of the Protoss, he opened his mouth with a sneer. The God clan of bullshit. If you catch our adults, you'd better release it to our patriarch. Otherwise, our patriarch will let people trample down your God clan. My lord. Nature means cloud dance. Although in his mind, cloud dance, the so-called adult, is not really too important. However, this is also a reason for them. The Protoss, a race that has sealed their demons for thousands of years, is so arrogant that they are really angry. This is the right time to meet the Protoss. It's a big breath. I'll take a look at how you lowly demons are going to level our Protoss. The leader of the heavenly army snorted coldly. As a result, the heavenly soldiers under his command immediately increased a lot. The battlefield of killing is more and more fierce. And fairyland. When the earth splits and the flood recedes, people in the fairyland are still unprepared, and ferocious non-human and non-animal creatures have crawled out of the earth. It's a lot of blood. Over there is the devouring Protoss. With the bloody smell of death, sharp claws and ferocious face, all show the horror of eating Protoss. Roar! The harsh and angry roar began to pierce the fairyland. At this time, the two factions of light and dark have joined together to resist this creature that suddenly crawled out of the earth. Only, when found that any resistance, in exchange for our torn phagocytosis, the Terrans on the earth finally understand. The demons are not their enemies. What they really need to be afraid of is these terrible creatures. But everything seems too late. Fairyland fell into a hopeless killing. And at the same time the upper bound and the human world. First, the flood caused a lot of chaos, and then there were a few goblins invading from the fairyland. It's still a little late for Nangong Yi and others to summon people to resist. The Terran has become the most humble victim. General Tianhan, how can you? There was a voice of surprise from the guard outside the prison, but it suddenly stopped before it came to an end. Then an unlocking sound came. After a while, the shadow of Tianchen has appeared in Tianlong. It's coming fast. Dragon Qing evil hands embrace chest of looking at that is unlocking the sky trace. Hook lips smile. Cloud dance is also quite eye-catching. I didn't expect that the silent transmission of dragon's evil spirit and enchantment could be so easy to use in this Protoss. However, the sky trace will appear, which is a little unexpected. The demons have entered the gate of the way of heaven. If you slow down, I may be at the gate of the way of heaven. Trace in the open lock. Light said such a sentence. But the meaning is clear. The demon is attacking the Protoss, and he needs to go to the gate of heaven. Why help us? Cloud Dance asks curiously. However, she didn't hesitate. As soon as the cell door was opened, she left the cell with Long Qingxia. The Protoss cell has a special boundary. She tried to break it with Long Qingxia, but it didn't work in the end. That's why Long Qingxia finally came up with the idea of transmitting sound. The Sky Trace smells speech, facial paralysis of lift mount to see her, light way. Bite the Protoss has climbed out from under the earth, and the only can stop them, only you. Then you should also know that we will not be the pawns of the Protoss. Emperor Zun is dead and Heaven Zun is closed. This time, no one can force you to become chess pieces but... When Tianqin said this, he stopped for a moment and then said in a deep voice, if you really want to see the Terran destroyed and your relatives and friends die, I can't say. After that, Tianqin left without looking back. Cloud Dance with Dragon Qing Evil look at each other. Tacit understanding of the alternative of a look, the figure flashed to catch up. Last time you said that if disaster came, you would do it, didn't you? At the moment of catching up with him, Yunwu asked. Several bodyguards outside the prison are stiff and shocked to see them off. General Tianhen, do you know what you're doing? These two people, but heaven wants. How dare he let people go without authorization? Unfortunately, their inner monologue has never been considered by the protagonist. I'll go to the gate of heaven now. The path of heaven trace. Long Qingxia stepped forward and blocked his steps. Since you want to do it, why don't you join us? Together. Tianqin's face was paralyzed. There was a trace of doubt on his face and his brow was slightly wrinkled. Cloud dances to hook lips to smile, smile to have a silk of cold and fierce. Bite a Protoss, your Protoss isn't dare to stop? If you really want to go down with us, stop the Protoss together. The Sky Trace turns to see to Cloud Dance. The facial expression seems to have a little more what? It's not 2 or 3 of us who can stop the biting Protoss. I just want you to go with us and help us by the way. What's the use? Tianheng only cares about this problem. Yunwu nodded. Yes, it's very useful. If it's really done, maybe it can stop this catastrophe by the way. Tianqin stares at them for a long time, and seems to be thinking about something. Yes or no, if you don't we'll leave. Well, let's go. Tianqin nodded, then jumped up in the air, turned into a streamer, and went in a certain direction. He said yes. Cloud Dance and Dragon Qingxia look at each other, and once again refresh the record of cognition. Is he too simple? Or is it too easy to cheat? This is also forget it, forget it. The goal is achieved. The couple saw a trace of doubt from each other's eyes, but they soon converged and ran after each other in the same direction. They really can't control the Protoss, but Tianqin is right about one thing. Even if they really don't want to be the pawns of the Protoss, how can they really stand by if their relatives and friends have something to do? But just the two of them really have the ability to stop this catastrophe? Unfortunately, they don't know the answer yet. Within the Protoss, because of a series of changes, it seems very turbulent. Cloud Dance, their 3 people, quietly leave the Protoss action, did not cause any Protoss attention. Of course, in addition to the guards in Tianlong, they are still stiff. Upper bound. The team called on by Nangong Yi and others has fallen into a hopeless war. Death on the increase. However, the battle at this time is different from that of the 10,000 beasts. This is a battle for the survival of the 3 worlds. Win live. Lose die. People. Where do these monsters come from? In order to survive, I have to fight. Yes, in order to survive. The battlefield has spread to the human world. Compared with the fairyland and the upper boundary, the human world is completely in a weak position without resistance. But this time, the main way of the human world battlefield is to come to Yunfu. Today, the 3 kingdoms exist in name only, and they are united together. When Long Qingxia, Yunwu and Tianqin appeared, the human world had fallen into chaos. The strong take part in the war and the weak retreat in the rear. However, the fear of death still exists in the whole human world. What are you doing in the human world? With the cloud dancing dragon, The sky trace from the lower world frowned. Obviously, I don't understand why I want to come to the human world instead of the fairyland. You know, fairyland is the main battlefield, and if you want to stop it, you can only seal the gap in fairyland. What's the use of coming here? Just to kill some invading Protoss? In this case, when can we stop this catastrophe? You'll see later. Cloud Dance just answered this sentence. Then she went to the base where the beast gate took root in the human world, followed by Long Qingxia. The sky trace is helpless, also can only keep up. Along the way, you can occasionally see one or two biting Protoss killing everywhere. But they didn't stop it. Even see the Cloud Army, Cloud Dance also directly across the air. But looking at it carefully, you can find that her speed is getting faster and faster. An hour later, once again, when you stand at the branch base of the Gate of Beasts in the human world, it's just in the middle of the sun in the sky. Tianqin, wait a minute, open a gap in the sky for me. Standing at a certain point, Yunwu turned to the mark and said, just that words, but let the day trace eyebrow a wrinkly. What meaning? Aren't you the guardian of the way of heaven? I believe that you must have a way to open a gap for the Protoss. What do you want to do? Do what you Protoss always want us to do, but Protoss is the god who created the human race, and it is also the source of this disaster. I want to use the power of Protoss, which should not be too much, Cloud Dance said with a smile. However, only Long Qingxia could see a certain irony in her eyes. I don't know why, he doesn't like her expression. I always feel like I'm going to lose her. I'll do what needs to be done. He stood beside her and put his arm around her waist. Yunwu wants to open his hand, but when he looks at her sharp eyes, Yunwu has no choice but to smile. Who will take care of the children in the future? Cloud Dance did not answer him, just asked such a question. Dragon Qing evil but Hook Lips evil spirit smile, embrace her hand deepened a few strength. They have their own way. They have to leave their parents. But don't you think they're too young? No, they will understand. Fool. Just like each other. The conversation between the two people, as if no one else, has too many overtones between them. It's just that others may not understand. Tianqin frowned, obviously did not understand. What are you talking about? Nothing. Cloud Dance and Dragon poor evil smile back. However, when Yunwu looked up at the sky, the book in her hand appeared again. Don't be stunned. Open the Protoss entrance. Tianqin's eyes fell on the book, and his brow was deeply wrinkled. So far, he hasn't figured out what they want to do. It's not good to open the gap between Protoss. There must be something unexpected. But it will make the Protoss into the abyss, what? General Tianhen doesn't want to stop this catastrophe? The Cloud dances to see the hesitation of the sky mark, the cold way of frowning. It's no small matter to open the Protoss. You should at least give me a reason? Why? I just said. Isn't that the reason? Well, stop the havoc. But is it that simple? No, there is always some uneasiness in Tianheng. Noon is going to pass. If you miss this point, you have to wait until tomorrow. Then I don't know how far the Protoss will invade. Cloud danced at words, finally let the sky trace loose. I hope you can do what you say. Hurry up. As soon as the dialogue between the two sides falls, Tianqin jumps up in the air and goes straight into the sky. In this way, can we really stop this catastrophe? Dragon Qingxia embraces Cloud Dance and asks suspiciously. The cloud dances and shakes its head. Then, you'll see in a minute. Yunwu put his finger on his lip, which stopped him from asking. And at that moment, jump on the sky, in that instant, just like the dazzling sun, suddenly set off a strong and hot breath of power. His body, in that power, began to become huge. Until the moment when his invisible and majestic body was formed, he suddenly opened his hands to a certain position in the sky with his bare hands. Boom! The roaring sound with his action began to rise from the air. Heaven and earth thunder. With his tear, the Protoss Guardian thunder naturally hit him. Even if he is a god, he will be hurt by thunder. Cold sweat, slipping off his forehead. However, his paralyzed face is still unchanged, tearing the gap. His hands are still in the force. within the Protoss. When he felt that the boundary of the Protoss was being opened in the outside world, the faces of the gods changed greatly, especially those old men. Damn, who is trying to break into the Protoss? Come on, go and find out what's going on. When the old men were angry, a bodyguard came in a hurry to repay them. When they heard that the two evildoers in the dungeon escaped, and it was Tianqian who helped them, the old men's faces were not so interesting. Evil, what a evil. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.